Yeah. My kids are not alive, but they're awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
There
so
you go.
That whole philosophy. But see, this should be getting recorded. Count down from 1 Oh, we're going now?
We're going live.
So what I was saying earlier,
Okay, yeah, hit me with
it
it.
was that. So the Lamaze class is like, we will rock you.
You're
So-
gonna blow our mics out.
Oh, sorry. But you know what I'm saying? Like the Lamaze class, like where they do that, where
Right.
it's like we will rock you song.
Right.
Do it.
That's
Yeah, can you do
See, I
it?
don't
Like,
even need a
have you
class. I'll
done
just go
Lamaze
talk to
yet?
Seth.
Yeah.
Have you talked to breathing? So do your breathing real quick.
I'm breathing.
can you do
I
your
haven't
breathing?
been to class.
We haven't
you
got to it
haven't?
yet.
So, but try like so that's how it goes. I'm saying Lamaze is like
Okay, we'll just
so
call
Lamaze-
you to
yeah,
come over
so
here.
do it. But just try
I
it.
don't have to go to class. I'll probably go into labor.
It sounds like that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
All right.
Well, I guess since we're
I'll
already
start
started,
with it.
this is
I'll
Seth.
start with it.
Seth, it's good to
Yeah.
see you, my man.
Man, I'm so excited to see you, bro.
It's been a long
I
time.
feel like,
It's been
I feel
too
like
long.
the outcast child, like invited back, and I went through all your stuff, and I seen you had a picture of my neck tattoo done when it was first just the outline,
Yeah.
and then you had no follow-ups to show like how beautiful the work.
I don't
you
think we took a
actually did.
picture that day. I'm
No,
horrible
I
about
think-
it.
Yeah, I think we just were in the mood, and you were like, "It's like actually tattooing my friend," and I was like, "Really, your friend?" You're like, "Yeah," and I started crying.
You're
I
just
was
a
like, "All right."
you're just a long lost friend.
Yeah.
You're just
And
like the
then-
prodigal
and
son.
then-
You
and
leave
then-
for a
yeah.
while, and then I have to bring you on back.
Yeah, and then I talked to your dad, and then we started drinking, and then a whole nother story after that. But no, it's cool. It's cool, and it's very good, like being there. And I had all kinds of stuff planned. So like the fish tank was what I
Yeah,
was
well,
saying.
let's go with the fish tank.
So-
Hit me with it.
You having a baby, like I was so nervous for a long time. I never thought I could have children, you know, and like just for whatever reason, the female I was with couldn't have kids, and I couldn't have kids. I was with her for like 3 years, and we both ended up with different partners. Bam, she got pregnant, and bam, the girl I was with got pregnant. So that was like kind of my catchphrase for a long while. You know, when I was with a girl, I was like, I can't get you pregnant. We're cool. With this girl for 6 months, pregnant, and then learning the process and learning the advice people give you, you know, and like they're like, well, if you could take care of a bamboo tree and a goldfish, you're cool.
And then you
You're
killed
good.
all
And you
those.
couldn't-
And I killed everything.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
I
good
killed
God.
everything. I was like, I'm not ready for a child. Like goldfish are like, they say they can just live in a bowl and like no oxygen. You don't have a filter in it. Everything. They die still.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think that's just because you're getting bad advice, and they do give that
Yeah,
advice to
no,
people.
and bamboo, like I bought in bamboo, and I've been like, oh my god, and money trees from the
Oh,
Asian
yeah?
market, you know, like you're so excited, like, all right, I'm gonna name this bamboo Seth Jr., I'm gonna name this bamboo Justin, Hannah, Nikki, cool dude with the Houston hat.
Alan.
I'm gonna name all this stuff, and then they all die, and like Alan calls and he's like, hey, how's my bamboo doing? Not so good. I thought you were just supposed to water it, but it's actually complicated, you know. Like
I released
things-
you back into your natural habitat out in the yard.
Yeah, and like things grow naturally there's bamboo in Houston all over. I've
Yeah.
been at a truck stop and used bamboo to open up my truck when I lock the door. You know, like
Right.
as a Slim Jim. There's bamboo in Houston that grows naturally. Everything grows naturally. Like, so as a parent, don't try to listen to all this shit people say.
I think about
You
all
know
the
what I,
goldfish
yeah.
and trees.
Like,
I
think,
feel
oh God, don't think about all that shit. Think about being there. Being in that moment. You
Our
know?
tax fella gave us a little tree and it's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead out there.
Dude, I've done.
David's gonna watch.
That's
this.
not the trick with kids. The trick with kids, like, honestly, and it was funny. Like, you see the videos, like, and I think even a diaper commercial used it, like, where it was like the first time being a parent, you're like, you have to have sanitizer all over your hands. And it's funny because my sister's a doctor, and she told me before she had her kids, she's like, I don't know if Sarah, my other sister, she's like, I don't know if she wants you around your kids because you smoke, so there's a residual smoke on you.
Right.
Now I still smoke. She's like, my niece wants to see you, or, you know, my niece, her daughter, she's like, she wants to see you all the time. She's like, so.
You're like a
you have
natural
that-
immune system booster.
Yeah, you have that. Right. No, but like,
Here said, hold my baby for a minute.
you know what? And
This is better than any fucking
and
Tdap
this is what's
shot
cool.
you can get.
Like, so I was watching the first podcast, I guess is what you call it, you did. And you're talking about veganism. So my mom's been a vegan for like 35 years. I was raised around vegetarians. My family are vegetarians. When I was in, can I say, when I was in prison,
Yeah.
I kept a journal and like I studied it. So like, I guess one of the first questions I asked myself was like, is there a God? And then I would write that question out and then try to fight that, you know, contradict it. Be like, is there a God? No, there's not from this point of view. And then I would go research and read books. And I would keep this journal, and it was just a process of back and forth, you know, like,
Right.
no, there's not a God. Well, what are these reasons to back it up? And I'd go read like the Celestine prophecies, like all these different. I think when I got out of prison, I read like 3,000 books.
Jesus.
Vicariously living my life through all these people and learning. You do that and you see my mom's not wrong for being a vegan. It's not unhealthy to be a vegan. It's not unhealthy to eat meat all the time. People are inherently adapted to their environments. We could eat fucking plastic rice, like probably what they're serving
I
us
wouldn't
now.
recommend that to anybody.
No, but you know what I'm saying?
Disclaimer.
Like we could do what
No.
we are omnivores. We are
Right.
we eat what we want. We do. I mean, there was a time like the dude you had on before. Mad respect to you too, homie. But he was like, I'm not promoting vegan. I'm not doing this. He's like, there's slime. We used to eat guts out of animals. There was a time before fire
People
that
still
people
do.
did shit. But you know what I'm saying?
I'm from the South, dog.
Yeah, people eat sushi. Like there's all these different things. So we're omnivores. We have the ability as creatures to adapt to everything. The one thing that kind of freaks me out, ancient aliens, but no, listen, is because we're the only species, and like I said, I've researched a lot and I've studied a lot, and we're the only animals that don't fit in here.
Trying to tap on the table.
Oh, sorry, that don't fit in here.
Blowing our eardrums
Oh,
out.
we're the only animals that don't fit in here. Like everything's got an equilibrium. We're the closest thing we are, and it sounds like kind of like dumb because Matrix said it. Like
I was
we're
just
like
going to say, this sounds a lot
viruses.
like
yeah, we're like viruses.
like Agents
but
of
if you're
Fifth right
thinking
now.
it, yeah, but if you think about it, like there's not like we use, we abuse, we swallow up, we don't do anything. Like it's so important to like recycle. You know what I'm saying? It's so like you're looking at your baby, like you think about it, you think about the little things you do, like when I flick a cigarette out the window. You know, like when we're destroying our environment, like we really are as people. When I was staying at my sister's house, she recycles, she has all this stuff, you know, but she has the time to do it. She doesn't really. I mean, she works 80 hours a week. She's a Kaiser doctor, you know, it's
Right.
like not taking anything away from her. Mad props to her because she earned everything. Shout out to my sister Heidi Klum. Mad love to you. But she's earned everything. You know, they got Tesla in their garage. They got their solar panels. They live in Cherry Creek Hills. They're on top of it. but I watched her. She's earned it the whole way. So like me and her are really close in age, and she got when we were. I think I was 15 when I got sent to military school, to St. John's Military School. It just got closed down too, but that was badass. But anyways, she went down to Belo Horizonte down in Brazil and studied down there pre-med as a high school student. And just our two lives growing up totally separate, and just what you have to struggle to become something, you know, like struggle, and the transition is always the hardest, you know,
Right.
like calluses. I look at people though, even today, for example, mad love to you, Nikki. I love you so much. That's my girlfriend. We're doing the yard, and we're cutting down branches and trimming stuff and doing stuff. And I got a handsaw, you know, and I'm doing it, and I'm like telling her I'm getting frustrated. It's hot,
Oh, yeah.
super hot, sweating. You're like, so whenever you add those situations into it, you heighten your how you deal with shit. You know, like you
Right.
start to get agitated, irritated, because your basic needs aren't met. So like, you're not cool, you're not comfortable. So now you're agitated. So doing all that stuff, I'm like, go buy a chainsaw. I'm pissed at her. I'm like, go buy a chainsaw. She's like, I'm trying to find a chainsaw, baby. Like, I'm trying to find it. I'm like, just go get the chainsaw. Well, by the time it was all said and done, by the time she was going to go get the chainsaw, everything was done. But then I looked at it and I was like, started thinking about what are the gardens in France? You remember, like, they used to have, like, in the French royals or whatever, had that big garden. In England, I think they had a big garden too.
I think it was pretty.
And, like,
common.
everything was, like, yeah, pretty common in, like, every royal
Yeah.
thing. They were all manicured without electricity, without a chainsaw, without any of this shit. You know,
Right.
like they were. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, you can still do stuff
You just gotta put that.
without.
You
Yeah,
gotta put that Daniel-son.
you gotta
wax
put
on, wax
yeah.
off, you know.
You gotta put that effort into it. You gotta reach down into your soul. And I was like a huge Jack London fan when I was a kid, like White Fang, Call of the Wild, and then I forget who wrote Where the Red Fern Grows.
Man,
But one of
Oh,
my
man.
favorite.
I don't
books
know
in
who
the
wrote
world.
it, but I don't watch when the coon hunting's done and
Yeah.
he wins. That's where the movie ends for me.
See where
It ends
where,
on that high note.
where the movie starts for me is where his grandpa was talking when they bought him that hatchet before he even had the coon dogs, and he was chopping down the tree, and his grandpa came back and he was still chopping down the tree, and he's like, every man should have to chop down a tree when they're a kid. Remember, because he
Yeah.
started getting callous. Like,
Right.
you're a kid, so your hands are still super soft. Like, so this was a kid. This was like back in the day, like 13 years old. I think back in the day, like they didn't even like when that book was written, it wasn't like 18 to drink. I think you could pretty much drink whenever you
Yeah.
wanted, or do. So I think like 16 might have been a man back then.
Right.
But so this kid was like 10 years old, maybe, let's say, and like chopping down a tree and getting the blisters on his finger, and the whole inward dialogue of it, you know, like the whole, you're chopping down a tree, you get like 20 strokes into it, your hand starts bleeding because you just got baby hands, and you want to give up, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're like done. And then you start thinking, he's like, well, my dogs are going to depend on me. Well, my grandpa's going to depend on me. So you have this whole internal dialogue that's going on that's pushing you through that, you know, so you're like, fuck it, let's just go, you know, and
Right.
you keep hitting it. And then I think the first part too is almost that anger, like I'm going to show them. And then that leaves. Like there's all these different emotions that go through to chop down that tree. You know what I'm saying? When the anger leaves, you still got to find it in you. When the love leaves, when everything leaves, you still got to find it in yourself to make that last hit. To keep going, you know?
Keep pushing.
Yeah. One of my favorite. I love that book. Big Ann and Little Dan, they carved it into the tree.
Yeah.
I
I'm telling
remember-
you, I love that movie.
He can't watch
But
that movie.
I'm a softy dog.
Man,
I
I
can't
am
do it,
too.
man. That end of
They
it.
married in that whole. So the whole thing was where the Red Fern Girls was an ancient Indian legend. It was a
Right.
sister and a brother, and they said where
What
they
is it about
buried
true
them.
love or something like that? Or
Yeah, like true
a strong
love.
bond
But
or
those
something like
dogs
that.
and like everything he went through, that whole book, I think. And I want to say like everybody should have to read it, but if everybody had to read it, would everybody comprehend it? No, like
No, that's why they have
it's
movies for
meant,
people like
yeah.
me.
Like everything's meant though for You know, everything. What I'm going to understand or what you're going to understand or the time that we're going to understand it is totally different.
Right.
Like, everybody's not on the same book. Everybody's not on the same page. There's nothing that's set in stone. You know what I'm saying? Like, a wise man sounds stupid, a stupid man sounds smart. Like, there's nothing that makes sense, really.
Right.
You know?
And we went deep, quick.
And that's all
In
I
here.
got to say about the war on Vietnam.
We just watched
That was
that.
Forrest
like
Gump.
yesterday.
Oh, you watched Forrest Gump? Yeah. Well, they unplugged this shit, and I should have waited till
And
the
that's
end
all
to say
I have
that.
to say about that.
I love that movie. I love
We
that
just
movie.
watched it like 2 nights ago. I
Yeah.
think.
He is so, like, I had a friend when I was younger, and I used to get so pissed at him because he's like, ignorance is bliss. He's like, stop trying to learn everything, you'll be happy. And I was like at that point in my life where I wanted to learn everything and I wanted to understand everything. I was like so pissed at him when he said that. And then if you really watch like Forrest Gump, like, ignorance is bliss. Like,
He
if
knew
you're
what
at
love
the-
was, though.
yeah,
That's
like,
when he started going downhill.
Yeah.
what?
When he found out what love was.
Yeah, no. He didn't know. He wasn't like he would. We, as a society, we hold intelligence as super high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's a good.
But if you
good
look,
extent.
no, absolutely it is. But there's an equilibrium between everything, and like we've advanced so far, technology so quick that there's a whiplash because of it. You
Yeah,
know,
but there's
like,
a different kind of, like, I guess, intelligence, depending. You know what I'm
all
saying?
right. So they have the IQ, right, and then they have the EQ, like the emotional quota. Like,
Yeah.
who would you rather hang out with, like a super high
Well, I wa-
IQ or a super high EQ?
I actually watched a Joe Rogan podcast
You
maybe
love
last
Joe
week.
Rogan,
Oh, I
huh?
love it, man.
He's
Love it.
badass. I like him too.
I like his podcasts and stuff. It's pretty cool.
You're
But,
gonna beat him now, because shout out to Joe Rogan. Have both me and my boy Justin on his show. Justin is the best tattoo artist you've ever seen. But that's what I was gonna say too. But yeah, shout out Joe Rogan. Have both of us on your show. Love
Yeah,
you.
he had a mathematician on there,
Oh yeah.
and he scores. He was saying about how the IQ tests and stuff that he does horrible at them.
Yeah.
Even though he's obviously a mathematician, he just works on equations all day long.
Huh.
But that test is not everything.
So kind of
Like, he's-
piggybacking off that, like they had a dude that was like crazy with math. They had 3 hard, and this is all on air, so I'm probably quoting shit wrong. So fuck you, I'm not gonna do it right. But they had like 3 people that were like Harvard or MIT, like mathematicians, like they were smooth with everything. Gave them calculators, books, everything. This dude had nothing, and he was like a janitor, like Goodwill Hunting, like whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But this is reality. And they hooked their brains up to shit, and they did it. Like, and he would solve like, but it wasn't like 10 times 2. It was like 0.0 to the 5th decimal, whatever the fuck they do to like confuse people. And the 3 students that were like majoring in this, like totally were behind in what he did. But the cool thing about it was they were monitoring the brain the whole time. So on the images, however they do it, I don't know. But the dude's brain was like totally relaxed. And the students was like totally sparking, like firing everywhere.
Right.
And he still solved it quicker than that. There's like when you find your, I want to say like Einstein said it, but who the fuck really knows what Einstein said? So like now that the internet's out, he's like, Einstein said this about the internet. Well, okay, he wasn't around then. But you know what I'm saying? I want to say, but like when every person is a genius, if you make like a fish climb a tree, he's not going to be good at it.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah. Like, so everybody, but if a fish is swimming in water and a bull is trying to swim in the water, it's not going to work out good.
Yeah,
Like everybody's got
their.
their different, and you
Yeah.
find your genius, what you're good at. But it's just connecting. It's when you let go finally. Bruce Lee, like I got a picture, like, oh, sorry, clap. I got a picture that I took next to his grave. Bruce Lee's like one of my favorite people. And it's like the stuff he did and like how great he was and how he encouraged people to be great like him, you know? Truly great people never look down on people. They don't have a reason to. Like they're not threatened by you at all. Like Bruce Lee was never threatened by another fighter. Bruce Lee was never threatened by another philosopher. Bruce Lee was like, I want you to be on my level so I can compete with you, so like I can grow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's always people that are down here that look up to these people and like, I need you to come down here. No, like the truly great people in our world and our society bring us up. You know?
It's just like different people take tattoos differently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I have 2 bitch creams apparently that I use. But no, and you know what's funny about that? Like you as a tattoo artist, and I've had friends like, so tattooing is like, I want to just kind of talk about 2 different aspects of it. As far as I don't do tattoos because I shake so much. I love to draw. That's my medium, like drawing.
We used to
Like-
do graffiti and stuff too. huh?
Yeah, I did graffiti.
Or still do.
I haven't. I did the Gypsy House mural down on 13th and Marion. I painted that. I mean, I never. I had my homeboy Johnny. I mean, we were in the Scattered Arts Festival. Like we did all that stuff. I think at one time, like I forget the beer company was like some dog, Scattered Dog, some shit. Anyways, but we went and did this huge festival, and you know, back in the day when like the Santa Fe Art Festival was going on, and I would do my paintings and do my drawings and stuff. I like to be able to erase what I'm doing. You know, like,
Erase?
I
Yeah.
don't like permanent shit. And I did that mural, and like it was crazy. Like a point in my life when I actually realized, like I was out there. There was a couple of things I realized, like doing a large mural of that scale, and being, what do you call a night person? Insomniac. What do you
yeah.
call a night? So I would do
Like
most of
somebody
my work
can't
at
sleep?
night. Yeah. I would do my
Or
work,
shift
most of my
worker.
work at night. So many times cops pulling up, you know, because I'm out there with a 12-foot ladder with, you know, Montana Gold spray painting a building. What the fuck are you doing here? And then at the same time, like having people roll up, and there was like a busload of like Chinese people, and they were like filming it. It didn't really hit me like how impactful that was until I was working at a call center with this guy, and he had it as his MySpace
really?
back in the day, as his MySpace background. He's like, dude, like, I love this mural. I was like, I painted that, you know, and like it was in books and Barnes and Noble and stuff. But I've never really thought of myself as an artist. Like I love doing art, and I love doing that. But like you're an artist to me. Like people that pursue it, that can do it. You're one of the few people, and that's what I was gonna go to. So art is so subjective. And by meaning subjective, like you have, like you'll never go to a homeless dude and be like, what's a Renoir or what's a Monet worth? I don't give a fuck. Can I wipe my ass with it? You know what I'm saying? They don't care about art. So art is like a total, not a primary need. So like then you have the people that can afford art that are like, so you have all these people that can afford art, but do they really know what art is? Like Monet, like Impressionism.
Right.
You know? You have to stand 20 feet back and 20 times this to view it. Motherfucker was going blind. That's why he did Impressionism. Right? It had nothing to do with how good of an artist he was.
Right.
He was fucking blind. So his shit made sense as a blurred object. And now, you know, like, let's be real with our shit. Like art. So the people that can afford art are dumb as fuck sometimes.
Right. Well, it's
And
just a
then-
money sign.
so-
It's just a money sign.
Yeah, it's a money sign. So like, you get these people, and they made fun of it on Seinfeld and all these different movies, you know, where they're like, is it the light that's art? Or is it? Shut the fuck up, really. But you're in a situation where the majority. So when I first got a tattoo, tattoos weren't everywhere. Tattoos were part of gangs, were part of a society that didn't fit in. So a tattoo was almost like a sticker on you that said, don't fucking talk to me unless I know you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was way different. And now doctors, lawyers, people are all sleeved out, you know?
Right.
Now I got my neck done. Now everybody's got their neck done. What am I going to get my face down next to say, stay the fuck away from me? You know what I'm saying? But not really. But, so you got that. But what you do as a tattoo artist is you bring, so what I was talking about before with art, how it's always been an upper society. Art's always been, you eat first, you have shelter first, you have all this, and then art's always been up here to these people. And tattoo's always been down here to these people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like what you do is like, a crazy art, and you meet artists and they're like never before have I heard my sister said that doctor sucks. Or never have I heard before somebody else's profession saying that dude sucks. But you meet tattoo artists and they'll be like, that dude sucks. Come get a tattoo art. You know, for me, like it's nobody sucks. First of all, there's shitty ass tattoos. When I got my neck done, I researched you a lot, like, and I was like, I'm never gonna be able to hide this ever in my life. So I
It's
want to
looking
come
nice,
perfect.
by the way.
It's still really nice.
Still looking good.
There's no.
It healed really well.
There's-
Even that blue.
It healed. Remember, I sent you that the next day, or it was like 2 days later. There was no scabby, nothing. Like the way you healed, it might have been mine.
I didn't even know what it was.
But it was just perfect, and it was like, when you did it, like.
Maybe it's just go deep enough. Maybe that's why you're squirming.
No,
So it just holds
because-
in really well.
No, you have a good end. Like everything's just perfect about it, you know. And like, I just remember putting cream on it. Everything, the colors stayed. Everything's really good. But as far as tattoo artists go, man, like.
Well, thank you.
I don't think anybody comes close to you. And then you sitting somebody down in your chair in like the shop you have now, you know, like on 16th Street, like the way you're like, you know, walk-ins and talk, and you're bringing it to mainstream people, but you're a teddy bear, dude. You're lovable.
Yeah,
You
I
know
am a
what I'm
teddy. Yeah.
saying? But you're so sick at what you do, and you're back in retrospect to that story I was talking about Bruce Lee. When you're good at something, you never criticize people. You're the best, dude, and you never criticize nobody. You know.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think everybody does something a little different, and I mean, I don't really hate on that people, you know, that many people that much.
It's a huge field. I mean, you got tattoos, just are. I guess you know what's crazy. Like you think about like in time, it was like the Army, Navy people that got tattoos, prison people that got tattoos. You would never see 100 years ago with a doctor with a tattoo,
Right.
and now you see him sleep.
Well, I have.
You
Well,
know.
we had nurses in our family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew Shannon. Well, he was in the medical field at one time.
Was he?
Yeah. He drew blood and stuff for the hospital.
Oh,
He's
phlebotomy?
Phlebotomy,
full back,
yeah.
both sleeves.
Yeah,
I think Shannon's
did
pretty did up by now.
Totally changed, huh?
But yeah,
like,
it's a lot
totally
different.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's a totally different thing, and like.
And there's so many people doing so many different things. Like you say that I'm good, but then I look at people and like I don't even know where
I think
to
that's
start.
even though, like, cause, like I do art. I'm not an artist. Like I learned how to knit and crochet. Like I've done shawls. I've done that. By no means am I a knitter or a crocheter.
Right.
Like these people that devote their lives to it is what they do. You know, I haven't devoted my life to art, so.
And some people they just look at tattooing different too. I think I look at there's people that tattoo out there. I think that are about, I guess, more of I don't know, like that party atmosphere that it used to
Yeah.
be, and it used to be this, you know, which you know I can't hate on anybody for that, but there are those people out there that like that. It's not all about how far can I push this tattoo, but it's just more about the fucking, you know, the atmosphere and like everybody's having fun and people are getting weird shit and all this stuff. But then me on the other hand, I mean, I like that part of it, you know, as far as the history and stuff of tattooing and shit like that. But me personally, I like the aspect of putting great tattoos out.
The piece together.
Like, yeah, it's more of like if I could paint, I guess, as good as I tattoo and make money doing it that way, I'd probably do it that way.
Right.
But somehow, I guess, just
So like every artist has their medium, you know. Like,
Right,
I can
right,
draw
right.
really good because I can erase on it. There's people that could do ink work like so sick you won't even believe it. You know, every artist has their medium, how they do stuff. An artist is defined by something when you let go and become great. You know, they had it in Man on Fire. You know, where an artist was a killer when they were talking about that greasy dude when he was.
is this what
around.
Denzel Washington?
Yeah, remember that? I love that movie. But when Christopher Walken, shout out to that dude too, it's cool as fuck. But Christopher, remember when he did that Slim, what was it, Slim Thug when he was doing that dance at Christopher Walken?
Right.
Anyways, he told him, he's like, when you do something so perfect, you become an artist at it. And he's like, Reese's art is killing. That's what he does perfect. So an artist is that, but every artist has their media, you know? It's when you let go. So I thought about it for a long time. And religion, everything, always talks about what happened in the past. You know, like Jesus was here, Buddha was here, like all that shit. I don't really know about that shit. I've been around for 40 years now. Like, I know certain shit, and then I can learn certain shit. I can relate, you know, like, I know if I take my thumb and put it on the table and hit with a hammer, and then it happens to Hannah, I can empathize with her. I can feel that same pain because I've learned that.
Right.
So I can relate and learn and build off that. But I don't know what the fuck Jesus was doing. I know what I'm doing and what I'm doing right now. And I respect all religions, but I don't respect them when they look down on people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I hurt people. But with that being said, you have to grow. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn and you have to respect that. And I kind of lost my train of thought right there because I had something really good that I was going to say.
It'll come back up later.
Yeah. So, I don't know where it was going to go.
It's all right. What have you been up to since we've last?
So,
Since you last got
a
your
lot
dad
of
finished.
stuff. A lot of stuff.
Good or bad?
Bad and good. I don't think anything, like, I look at my life and, like, all the bad shit at that time seems really bad. And then I look back at it in retrospect, and it's, like, kind of what made me.
Right.
It's like that transition, like I was saying about Cal. It's like it changes who you are, and it's super uncomfortable at the time. So, like, since then, like, I lost my CDL. I lost my career that I had because I got a DUI.
Yeah.
And struggling and going through that, and, like, and then jumping back that too. So, what we were talking about tattooing is, so I have friends that, like, go and just get super wasted and get tattoos. And they got, like, half their arm looks like something off of, like, Quentin Tarantino's, like, Dusk Till Dawn. And then the other half looks like this. And none of it holds, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, like, the art, and it's like, I drink a lot. And, like, I got a problem with drinking or whatever. Whenever I go to you, I would try to hold it back on that so that the piece came out good. Like, it's like, you have respect, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you're doing something, you want it done right.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Kinda?
yeah.
So
And I appreciate
that's where I
that,
was
by
going
the
to
way.
jump. But that's where I was going to jump back on it. And I had a few drinks before I came to see you, but I wasn't, like, obliterated.
Right.
Like, in life, dude, I just think, I don't know, it's crazy. Like, you guys are really bringing a beautiful, amazing girl into this world. My daughter fucks me up every day, the shit she says.
You have a son and a daughter, right?
A son and a daughter. So I had a son and a daughter, and when I had my son, I actually got clipped. I had a vasectomy. $20. That's what it cost me.
$20.
Which is a cool story because
Was this done by a doctor?
Later
Okay.
on, this girl, by one of the best, but later on, this girl came back and she was like, I'm pregnant with your child. And I was like,
Not today.
I pulled out the paper and I was like, 0.0099% chance that I'm the fucking father. I was like, I got that because I got that test and I went and followed back up there. Fuck you, that was the best $20 I ever spent. But when I had it, I was like, that's what I'm gonna.
Hannah can't even eat good fajitas for $20.
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what's
I mean, I'm not looking for a vasectomy guy or anything, but
You don't. So, and that's everybody's different choice. Like, I had one because I had my son, and I was like, if I get a son, I have a daughter and a son, I can barely financially take care of my daughter. And they both happen back to back, like they're ghetto twins, so like they're like only a year apart, you know. So I was like, that's all I can afford.
how
you
old
know?
are they? I guess if you
So,
don't mind saying.
Jeremiah just turned 10.
Just turned 10?
And Victoria is 11, about to turn 12. So they're like a year apart for
Yeah.
like, they're a year and 6 months, I think, apart. But they'll do stuff at that age and it'll just blow your mind. Like how my daughter is so like, I'll be pissed about something or I'll be like feeling down on myself and I'll be like, I'm so sorry that I'm your dad, you know? Like, I'm so sorry, like, you chose me or whatever. And she's like, Daddy, you're fucking awesome. Like, I love you. You know, or like, I'll look at a situation and I'll be like, whatever, you know, like I won't really understand it like how they understand it as children,
Right.
you know, but how smart they are. And then I think one of my greatest fears though is just technology with the kids, like just watching it, watching how when I was a kid, I could go to school, and this is super vulgar, but I could go to school and jack off in the lunch cafeteria, and nobody would catch it on film. Now the kids sneeze and they catch it on film.
Right.
It's super like everything in their life is criticized, and
I already told Hannah we're not doing that
breaks
6-year-old
my
with a cell
heart.
phone shit.
Yeah.
That breaks my heart, and I always said that too. And my kids both got a cell phone now, at 10 and 11, but I do it because I want to be in contact with
Right.
them.
Well,
And there's no way to
it's
change.
a good tool now.
Yeah, and
as far as
there's no way. Tools. So tools are to be used.
right.
They're not to use you, right?
Yeah.
Like tools. So cell phones are excellent tools when you're ready to use the tool, when you understand the tool. So I've been having a big thing with my son and daughter about that. I'm like, you have no phone etiquette. Dad,
Right.
what's phone etiquette? I'm like, you can't have a cell phone unless you know about phone etiquette. You don't just hang up on people without saying bye. You know what I'm saying? You don't sit at a restaurant on your phone when the waiter's taking the order. You have to learn these things, phone etiquette, before you can have a phone.
But things
Yeah.
are so different now.
Yeah.
Things
Right,
are so.
but
I didn't
you
even
still
have.
have to learn
Oh
that.
yeah, definitely so.
You know?
That's why I tell her all the time. Like, I'm not. I mean, I didn't even have. I ain't gonna be lying to you. My dad did not buy me a cell phone till I was in college. But that was pretty much probably because he could get
They
a
didn't
hold
even-
to me and stuff.
They didn't even have cell phones when I was a kid.
I
We have
begged.
the pagers.
I begged my dad for a pager when I was like, I want to say like, I was young, probably like 12, 13, somewhere in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that probably puts you right around 20.
When,
So it probably wouldn't sell.
how
but
old
were-
are you now?
I'm 33.
33?
Am I
Yeah.
33,
So,
babe?
so when you asked your dad for a pager is when the judge looked at me and was like, here's 16 years and 5 years mandatory parole, motherfucker.
How long were you in? I guess you know.
18, I got sentenced to, well, if you count the 16, 21 years
You were in
when
for
I was
21?
18. No, in prison for 6 years and a couple
Six.
months straight, from 18 to 24. And then I went back to finish my parole for 8 months,
Dang.
which kind of fucked me up. Like, it was like, so I got out of prison with a huge smile on my face. Like, because I went so young and I kind of grew up there, but there was like, when you first go to prison, I guess you have to like do your shit,
And
kind
how
of
old were you
scrap
again?
and stuff.
When you went in?
18.
Oh, you were 18.
Yeah. And I kind of did that. I mean, I've been in my share of fights, been in my share of dumb stuff. And then I got to a point where my aunt sent me a letter. I had written a letter to her, and she sent it back with it corrected. This is like before autocorrect. This is mail, mind you. So I spelled hello, Hellow, and she crossed it out, was at Hello. And I mean, the rest of it was like the same thing. And
Took the red pen to it?
yeah, this was probably when I was like, so that was 18. I was probably like about 20 at the time, 20, 21. Already fight, already do all that stuff. But that kind of embarrassed me. And I was like, all right, so I went to the library and I was like, I'm going to find the biggest book in the library and I'm going to read that motherfucker. But I had my parents send me a dictionary.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I'm going to not only read it, I'm going to understand every word in it. My dumb ass goes, picks out Leo Tolstoy, War and Peace, which was the biggest book in the library. Sucks nuts. It's the best part of it is the essay at the end. But, so I'm getting, like, you read the introduction and it's like the Rolstos, it gives you all these different families, like the introduction. Then you start the first page and it's like, da-da-da, visit a soiree. I'm like, what the fuck is a soiree? And I look through my English dictionary. It's a French word for a party. Why the fuck don't you write party? Because it's a fucking Russian dude. And then they can't even translate it all the way into English. They got to still add French shit into it. So it took me like 2 months to read that book. But when I was done with that book, I was like, holy shit, I read this.
Yeah.
Like, and
You got enough
Yeah.
leg up on me for sure.
yeah, and then I just went through the whole library and just was like, I just started everything I could get my hands on, whatever people said. I remember it was right after 9/11 happened, and the guy that lived right across the hall from me, so like the normal quote unquote, like when white dudes get there, they become racist, they become Aryans. My girlfriend's black, my kids are half black. Never happened to me. But black dudes go there, they become Muslim. Like everybody wants a. The reason why they do that is in prisons and in everywhere else in life. The old famous saying, like, divide and conquer. Like they want you to. The easiest way for 12 fucking dumbass fucking guards to deal with like 300 people is to divide them. So they segregate them. They create all these divisions so that everybody's fighting amongst themselves so that they can put 11 guards there and pay them minimum wage and put them in towns like Sterling where the average, person only graduated, 10th grade. And that's the same place they put slaughterhouses and everything else they want it, so they can find the workers.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, but anyways, you do all that shit. Sorry, I gotta turn that
Is
off.
it you?
I think it's me. I don't know. I thought I had
We all have that same generic
Right, I never.
notification.
She gets so
so
mad
it's
at me
like,
because of my notifications.
is it mine?
It's probably mine.
It's
I
probably
just
mine.
turned it off. But
It is.
so they do that, and then in that process, that's how normal. So, anyways, I went over and knocked on this dude's door. It was right after 9/11 happened, and I knocked on his door. And I'm a white dude. He's an older black guy that's like devout Muslim. And I knocked on his door. I was like, I want to know why you hate me. At that point, I'd already been in so many fights. I didn't give a fuck. You're gonna beat my ass, beat my ass. I don't give a fuck. Or I beat your ass. However this shit works out.
Right.
But he's like, all right, I'm gonna teach you how to do wudu. Wudu is, I think it was called, where they wash their hands and why they wash their hands and why they pray. So I started reading the Quran and studying it, and started trying to understand his shit. And like through researching that, through keeping an open mind about that, like those people like in Afghanistan and those places. So could you imagine right now, like we're having this podcast and a bomb goes off and that beautiful little baby girl right there dies and he dies and she dies and you die, I'm the only one left. And now I'm looking through rubble and shit and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And then some dude's like, here's a fucking Krishnikov fucking AK, you know what I'm saying? Take this shit, defend your shit. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not, these people aren't different than us. They've been fucked over so many times. Everybody has the ability to be a terrorist. Everybody has the ability. Inside everybody is everything, and it's the situations that bring it out in you. And we got to look at it like these people, like America's so powerful, and we've done so much fucked up to so many people, we've done so much fucked up shit. We need to start, instead of like, I didn't know Afghanistan is one of the largest producers of opium in the world.
Oh yeah.
Right? We have pictures of our soldiers
Oh yeah.
guarding the
That's
opium.
been known.
So
That was like a big deal.
Yeah,
Back when that photo came
like
out.
there's always, like we're like, oh look, our young kids are going to guard us from freedom. Like we own over half the world's weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a blade of, like the Japanese dude said, behind every blade of grass there's a gun. Like we're invadable almost. Like we would have everybody in the fucking world. You can't really invade us like that, right? But these other countries can be, and they're hurt,
Right.
and they're pawns in this shit, like oil or this. I've worked in the oil field for a while, truck driving and doing that shit.
Mhm.
We drill and then cap everything off. We don't use it. From fucking Montana all the way down Wyoming, down to Texas, all that shit, that big oil boom, none of that's been used yet. It's
No.
all been drilled and capped. Like we sit on the largest deposit. So those people operate on a totally different, that own that shit, operate on a totally different level than we do. So like I was talking about art needs. Like, so you have your primary needs like food,
Mhm.
water, shelter. Then you have like art. Like these really rich people operate on a different level. They have no consequences for what they do. They have no repercussions. Like everybody's like, oh my God, Paris Hilton, the Hilton family.
Mm-hmm.
These people are so beyond that at Paris Hilton. If they had a daughter like that, they'd just kill her and put her in the river. They have no repercussions for it. They're like, we don't want attention to us. We're so rich and we don't have, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they have their groups. But everything in the world, our children are going over there and fighting a war, that it's their war. You know what I'm saying? Politicians don't give a fuck about us.
Right.
They really don't.
Oh yeah.
They got free medical for the rest of their lives. Their kids got free college and medical for the rest of their lives. You have no ability to say what the fuck is affecting me and my kids or affecting my friends and their kids. You have no ability to say that. But
yeah, I think they're actually trying to change that as far as like the terms and stuff and how long and shit you can be.
yeah,
I think I was listening again, probably another Joe Rogan podcast. But I
Yeah.
think they're actually they were trying to get like term limits and stuff like. So like
For the
somebody just
Senate
can't
and
sit
shit,
in there and be
yeah, it's
a
crazy.
lifelong
dude.
politician.
It's crazy. And mark my words, you're gonna remember this shit. I bet you fucking Trump's gonna try to fight some shit. He's gonna declare a national emergency or try to stay in office. I bet you money on that shit.
I don't think so.
I bet you watch it. I bet you. You've seen it. You know what's funny to me too, and I just want to say this right now, because I'm totally not political like that. I'm gonna start voting next year for once in my life. I had read it was either Napalm and Silly Putty or like Brain something George Carlin shit,
Oh, okay.
and he talked about like voting being the kind of same as like feeding paper into a broken copy machine. Like if it's broken, why the fuck are you feeding it? Like
Right.
fix the machine first before you feed it. So I kind of adhered to that my whole life, but now I'm like, fuck, I got a voice. I need to say this
Right.
shit. But every single person on my Facebook timeline that voted for Trump, that posts all the Trump shit, has said the N word. Every single one. So
Have I ever
relating
said
to
it?
that, no, did you vote for him then?
Mm-hmm.
Did you? Okay. So, but anyways.
Or I didn't vote for him,
Oh, you did?
but I didn't vote at all.
Yeah, I didn't vote at all. But every single, so I called him out on that, and I look at it and like,
I don't think I've registered to vote again
the
since my
thing
felony.
is that they, really?
Yeah.
But the thing is that kind of messes me up about it is that he's been bankrupt so many times. He is, so the people that really like him are devout Christians. He's cheated on every wife he's had. He's, you know what I'm saying? Every wife, without immigration people, he won't have a wife. And he's so pissed about immigration
But he's
people.
not pissed about immigration.
Yeah, he is.
He's pissed about illegal immigration, which
But
is a
that's gonna
difference.
happen. But that's gonna happen.
There's a difference though.
But illegal immigration is going to happen. Like at my job, just look at this. At my job, we do work that the majority of white people don't like. It's hard work. It's out in the sun. The majority of white people don't like it.
That's a pretty broad statement though.
Don't you think though? Would you go out and do it? Well, you're a successful tattoo artist. But I'm just saying, I'd see, and
But
I'm
I mean,
not trying to,
I've shoveled concrete and stuff like that when I was younger.
yeah, when you were younger, but would you do it? No, it's like a stepping stone. It's to do it. These people are older doing it, right? Like I'm just saying from what I've seen. And like I said, I never say anything what I don't know like firsthand about. And I've just seen it. And like, if you're going to say that, he just kind of scares me a little bit. I guess, and don't quote me on this shit, I like him because he stirred up everything. Like he actually, like, because I think everything was broken. So he stirred it up.
Well, I think that was one of
But
the
I
main
know.
reasons he won was something because
Yeah, because
they were trying to get away from the establishment.
Absolutely.
That's such a cookie
Absolutely.
cutter
But he
politician or
did, but
president.
he's nothing what people, like people will literally support him.
But he's done good
blindly.
things though.
What?
But he's done great things though.
Okay, so we look at it like he did that huge trade embargo with China,
Mm-hmm.
like to equalize American shit. Now, millions of dollars are not getting spent in the United States. There's huge computer companies that are going bankrupt because they can't get the parts from China right now. So like, he's shut down a lot of businesses. Like he's not. I know what you're saying, and I know, dude. I've seen it. Like, and I know. But if you really look at it, he's like putting me in office, dude. I'm gonna have a fucking drink. I'm gonna get fucked up. I'm gonna talk shit. I'm not meant for being a politician. Socrates said it best. The very people that we want in power don't want power. Trump wants power. Obama wants power. all these people want that shit. I would never. Do you know the responsibility of that shit?
Oh yeah, it's got to be horrible.
It's got to be to feel like every word you say, every shit you say. I can't handle it. I can barely handle the responsibility I got right now, and I have very little. I mean, I have a lot. I have kids that depend on me and shit like that, but I don't. I would never want that. A whole like. So not only are you president of the United States, but you're a world leader. So you got to understand the whole dynamics of the world.
Right.
I don't understand a lot of shit
Well,
that's going on here. How are we going to
again, that's the
understand
thing
that?
where they have like a billion people in their cabinet, or there's it's not just
Right.
him. Because no, I mean to be
Right.
100% honest, nobody could know
And then
everything
you go
that's
back
going
to,
on.
And then you go back to what I was saying. So a president is like the Mercedes hood ornament on a Mercedes.
Right.
It's not the
To
car.
an extent.
The people that have been running this fucking country are the Mercedes. Obama, Trump, everything are that hood ornament on it. They put the hood ornament. It's a representation. But they've been running. They're gonna do the same shit. Whether like so, I think like they had that big debriefing and everybody's like, oh my god, they tell them about
Because
Area
it takes
51.
more than one vote to change
Yeah,
shit.
they tell them
So-
about Area 51 and they tell them about all that shit. I don't believe that. I think they sit them down in a chair and tell them, listen, do whatever the fuck you pretty much want to, because this is the way we've been running this country. This is the way we've been running the world since before you got here, since whatever. They don't really care what the. I mean, they wanted to be kind of articulate, I think, and kind of be able to do the press conferences and everything. But the people that have been running this, not this country, but this world, have been running it before time. Like you look at World War II happened when in 1940 something.
I'm not a historian. I'd be the last person to
1940.
name off years.
What was it, Nikki?
41.
1941. I knew it was 41 or 42. So I went to college for Japanese and business, and I studied like a lot of like they had what was called the Iwakura mission. So before Japan, they had what was the dude's name? He was an admiral. He came Bismarck, I think. Like he was an admiral of the Germans, I think. Landed and tall. I'm probably wrong on a couple things, but it's pretty accurate. So he was like, I'm going to shoot cannons unless. So they were negotiating anyways. So they had this mission where they sent, so they abolished the samurai class. And they sent a bunch of these people out to different parts of the world. Well, the reason why I bring this up is because it was so confusing to me how Hitler, Nazi Germany would be allies with Japan when they weren't Scandinavian and they weren't white, and it confused the fuck out of me. So I researched it. So they sent out this thing, and all these people came back and reported to the. It was when they abolished the samurai class, put the emperor back in power, and became like one of the from 1941 to whenever World War II. So before that, it was only like I think 1840 or something. Within 100 years, became a total world power. How did they do that, right? So they looked at the United States, and one of the things about the United States that they adopted was every man, woman, and child had a chance to have an education. So if you do that, you have a greater pool of knowledge to come from, right? They looked at England had the greatest navy at the time. And England was one of the most powerful countries at the time, so they developed their navy. They went and gathered all these things from all these different parts of the world and did that. You know what I'm saying? To improve themselves. Within 100 years, took the dragon throne, was just China, and put it under the dust. Like, you're not as powerful as us. We're way more powerful. They did all these things up because they did that with everybody being able to learn and everybody seeing stuff. They developed the hiragana and katakana, which is the phonic alphabet in the Japanese. You know, like you talk about kanji and stuff,
Yeah.
like your friend was telling about the thing. Like, so Korean letters always have circles in them, don't always, but the big kanji always comes from China. That's the original. Kanji is a Japanese word, but the big characters always come from China. And then, like, the Koreans have a phonic alphabet, and then the
I have no idea any of
Japanese
this
have
stuff.
hiragana and katakana. Anyways, but I'm just going back though. So I'm so undereducated to talk to you about Trump or to talk to you about anything. And that's why I'm so scared to vote, because I don't really know shit. I know shit from what I've experienced. And I'm just saying, like, from what I've experienced when I said that on Facebook, everybody had used that word. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody was under the same philosophy. And I guess that's where I was kind of going back to is no matter, I know I have the right to learn it, I know, but do I have the time to learn? Like with dealing with my kids, dealing with driving to work, dealing with working, do I have really time to learn to have somebody to represent me? I mean, we're so dumb as a society, we're talking about socialism, which isn't even a political point of view. Like, we're a republic. It says so in our pledge. Our
Right.
pledge of the republic which it stands. There's democracy. Socialism isn't a political party. Socialism and Marxism and all that stuff aren't even political. Does that make sense, kind of? Like, we're so uneducated on what we do.
Was more like an economic
Yeah,
standpoint.
they're
I mean, it's political, but
socialism. No, all those are they're totally divided. They're not political. They're economical. So we're just so. I am myself. I can never speak. I'm so ignorant to the fact. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So how am I going to elect somebody? So then you look at it, and what about if we started just focusing on Denver? What about if we started focusing on Inglewood, Littleton? What about if we met people one-on-one, you know, and started, there's people already doing that.
Right.
A lot of them are retired. A lot of them, you know, they have time to do that shit. But what if we made it a point to bring that to the common people and change from the root up, you know?
I mean,
Don't
yeah,
try
yeah.
to change the leaf on the tree.
I don't know. It does take a lot as far as just, I mean, I'm no fucking political mastermind by no means, but I do listen to a lot of stuff. She can probably tell you she listens to it every fucking morning. But, like, I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of, I mean, it's hard this day and age, though, man. It's
Yeah.
like there's so much bullshit, and a lot of it just people who are in, like, I guess, like, echo chambers. Like, if you hang around a certain amount of people or certain, it's kind of hard to go
Yeah.
against that grain because you're just hearing the same shit over and over and over again. So take me and you, for instance. Obviously, you're not a huge Trump fan. My friends and stuff, I guess just being from the South and stuff, are Trump people.
Huge show. Yeah.
But you probably don't see the people that you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
hear a lot of a different side than you do. And
If
it's just
you-
hard. You just have to, I guess, just make a, I guess, like a conscious
So those
decision
friends on
to,
my
like,
Facebook, I like them for certain
mix.
reasons, and I become friends with them. What they're doing isn't wrong. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
me and you have talked
when
about
you
this
sit,
before.
yeah, when you
as
sit
far as-
down and like, you won't ever, if you just talk to your neighbor, you would ever know what they. Everybody has like this common core belief. I hope they do.
Right.
You know, and like the world's got to be based off that good, but it's just honestly like our government has become where they're not afraid of us no more.
Well, I told
They're
you.
not afraid of the common people no more.
You had made a
They're not.
post one time back when those, I guess, the kids or whatever, the Trump hat things. And remember, I commented
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
And I just explained, you know, like, I don't know if you were upset or it just pissed you off or whatever it was.
Did
I
I
remember-
block you?
No, I
Yeah,
don't. No,
probably
but
pissed.
I was just saying, like, no, I'm just saying you were, like, probably, like, angered by the situation that you were posting about.
Oh,
like, obviously
yeah.
it made, like, some type of,
Oh, I
and you
remember
were-
it was about that kid in that magna hat.
right. And
Yeah.
I had made the comment of, like,
Like fake news and shit, like
well, I
research
didn't-
it.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I was just like, you know, what, this is what they want is for, because me and you were,
Exactly.
I would consider us a very
Yeah.
close friend,
Yeah.
you know, and I got much respect for you.
They
and you got
want to
much respect-
divide, but I was
and I
talking
was
about
telling
prison,
you-
divide and conquer.
Yeah, when you take shit for face value and then
Look
you
at
get
the-
you
and
take an
look at-
emotional attachment to something like
and
that.
look at the perfect way to do it. A smug, arrogant kid looking at an elder. You know what I'm saying? They do this shit like they Orwell.
and I was just trying to
1984,
tell you
like,
of like how shit like that tries to, all they want is for people like me and you who are good friends.
yeah, to separate.
To fight each other or to have an
And
argument
there-
with each
yeah,
other.
and
I'm
there's
not-
no real reason.
And I
Like,
was
there
just
really isn't.
explaining to you, like, look, man, like, there's probably, you know, there's always two sides of the story. You know, there's
I
no
totally agree with
sense
you.
of, you know, they want you to post shit like that to get a
We were
response from people that you love and respect
we
to
were
go
me-
against one another.
Me and Nikki were watching. They had this. What is it? It's a Black Mirror. Black Mirror on Netflix.
That's a
and
good
it's
show.
Yeah, that's
It's
good.
all these scenarios, dude. And I was watching it, and I almost threw my phone down.
It's
I
like
was
a modern day
what
creep
the
show.
Fuck are-
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like hit so much at home. Like these people are just filming people, and
Oh yeah, was
And
that the
we're
one where they
just
were like
so-
part of that TV show? Or
yeah, or whatever, and they had that mask, and they were
Spoiler
like,
alert.
killing and
Stuff.
shit.
Whatever. That's who haven't
It was
seen
just
it.
so. It was so.
I think that's actually the last episode I watched.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It's
we,
like
I
all those
think that
people
was
with their
too.
cell
Yeah.
phones and stuff.
Yeah, and they
recording.
were so removed from like they were just filming it, and it
Yeah, it's
This
kind of like a
world's
very surreal.
fucked, dude. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have a drink to that shit.
Oh lordy.
Sorry,
What
Grandpa's
is
cough
it?
syrup, Fireball.
Oh,
It's the
good
world's
God.
worst liquor in the world too.
Oh my lord. I got some great value mouthwash in there if you want to just
Yeah.
pound that real quick.
So we used to do that in military school. We used to put vodka in mouthwash.
Oh,
Ugh. Give it a
And
little
then-
minty.
No, we used to do it. Yeah, because you couldn't. Because mouthwash naturally has alcohol in it.
Right.
So we used to do that, and then we had a lot of the military school, and it's what's crazy, and I didn't find this out till later on. Like my military, so my high school, cost over $50,000 a year for my high school. Like 1 year of school was over
How
50,000.
long were you in military school?
yeah.
Year.
A year.
I went AWOL a lot. So I.
So what's
lettered-
military school like? I've never been there, obviously.
So I got there with St. John's Military School in Salina, Kansas, the most prestigious military school in the country. The alma mater is far across the Kansas prairie, midst its waving grain, stands our noble alma mater, mightiest on the plain. Sienta Virtus Disciplina is our motto true, carved in stone and in our memory this we pledge to you. That
oh my
I
god.
learned when I was fucking 16 years old. I haven't forgotten it still this day. There's certain shit, like, if somebody tells you they were in prison in Colorado, my shit's 9395. I'll never forget that.
Right.
93915.
Saying that. How many times did you say that number a day?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That shit, we had to remember that it was an Episcopalian school, all boys school. I got there. You couldn't smoke. I love to smoke cigarettes. I couldn't smoke. You just PT from morning till night. Like
Really?
push-ups. There was times when I watched officers hold sabers under the nutsacks of people doing pull-ups. Like, go ahead and don't do a pull-up. We got to the point where you would get tired of me doing pull-ups before I get tired of actually doing pull-ups. It was so physical and so, but it was a climate where you had to be a normal person. Like we had a kid in there that we did blanket parties, all kind. And I participated in obviously,
Right.
And it kind of
Well,
was
it comes
like,
to that when
I kind
somebody's
of
fucking
am
up.
thankful for it because when I went to prison, I was already like, I've already been around an all alpha boys climate. Like I already know how to behave. Anyways, but so you get there, your parents paying all this money. You got 10 adults that are running a school full of 300 cadets, and yeah, it was
From
it
morning
was
to
crazy.
night, just
From
fucking
morning
working
to
your
night.
ass off.
I mean, you woke up. It was like 5:30 was reveille, which is your morning. You're done.
Right.
You would go for a mile run, eat breakfast, go for formation, go to school, do your schooling, do all your extracurricular. Like I lettered in rifle competition, in shooting rifles. Go do that, do your studies. Taps out, lights all go off, everybody throws in a chew,
Right.
lays down on their bed, talks shit, tells horror stories, whatever.
Right.
Have wars with different companies, do whatever. And then weekends you go to Fort Riley, which was like the big military base right next to
Okay.
it. Flew around in Apaches, all shit. Like the people, my mom finally, I was like, you can't send it to me. When I was in prison, she'd send me like the updates because they had like a newsletter that would go out. Stop saying it because like my friend was like, he's the commander of the fucking Apache fleet in Seoul, Korea. My other friend's like just graduated West Point.
Right.
I had we only had like 12 or 14 people that would graduate a year, and out of those, like 4 people had, like without the senator's signature, everything went to Annapolis, West Point, whatever. I was pretty much guaranteed that spot. But I would always go, hey, well, I'd go down to trail stop, hitchhike from Salina, Kansas to Breckenridge.
What's the
You know.
punishment on that?
I'd get my head shaved. I had to become a rat. I remember a rat.
rat.
Like, so they put an orange armband. I forget, it's an acronym, but I forget what it stands for.
Okay.
And they put it on your arm. So like, I would hitchhike. I'd go down to Boston, a drug stop down there, hitchhike. Every time too, I'd tell them Frisco, which is right next to Breckenridge, off I-70. They always taught San Francisco. So anyways, I'd get here to Denver, hitchhike up there, come back, they'd shave your head, they'd demote you. Well, I was like, I had word mouth because like I was like the pick of the litter. Like they loved me. Like I was super athletic. I was like pretty intelligent,
Right.
So they really liked me. Well, when I AWOL, so I was always like, I was on NCOIC at the laundry room, so like I figured that out. I wanted to get there because it's the only place you could smoke. Like
Was
the
in the
laundry,
was in the
laundry, because they had these two old ladies that would come and do the laundry, and I was like, and I was in charge of it, so I'd have to open it up, and I lived in this little like dorm separate from the companies. Like, so you had Alpha Company, Bravo Company, Charlie and Delta were like the younger kids in the school. So I do that. So I came back, and I remember coming back. It was like, first of all, I remember going AWOL and doing all that shit, and I was like, all right, we're having fun doing this shit. Then getting caught because eventually you got to go home and get clothes. Right. You're a kid, you're not able to support yourself. So go home. The Sergeant Major Bradley, this dude that recruited me actually, and this other guy, this black dude, I forget his name was Johnson or something. No, that sounds super racist, but it's not. Came up and they're like, this is like God's country. They just loved coming. Every time I went AWOL, they loved it because they'd have to drive.
They had to drive over here.
Yeah, they loved the mountains and everything. But then I would go back and they would shave my head, and you had to wear this orange band. And they had this fucking tree. And when I say the school like the alma mater, like it's been like the guy that wrote the what's that? I can't hold a tune at all, but the guy, the Andy Griffith Show.
Okay.
Like that dude that wrote it graduated from the military school I went to. A whole bunch of famous people. Anyways, so shaved my head, did all that shit. Well, the people that they put in charge of me, like my drill sergeant, I remember his name was Bundy, drill sergeant, and I was like, it's Bundy something, but he was from India. He was an Indian guy.
Okay.
He had to go sleuth his freedom tree, and it was like this freedom tree you had to. So like when everybody was running, so you had to wake up earlier than everybody, run your miles, do all that shit. And then when everybody was doing their formation and everybody's getting lined up to do roll call and all that shit, you had to salute this. You had to be like, freedom forever, freedom tree, I love you, freedom tree. Well, they would try to demean you in front of this freedom tree.
Okay.
Well, I was high enough up to where these people that were trying to do it to me, I was up above them. Like I wasn't like, so I was on battalion staff and they were on battalion staff. But like I would kick it with all these guys. So when I would get back, they would try to do shit like that. And I was like, listen, I'll make you look good. Like, I'll go salute the fucking freedom tree. And mind you, this is like a twig that's growing out of the ground. People, if you're already a troublemaker and you have to salute it, you're going to try to kill it at night.
Right.
Like, so it's a tree that's probably like 300 years old that still looks like a branch growing out of the ground. Like, because people try to kill it, they're trying to, but it's still growing. Anyways, I remember specifically, like, sitting in the room with that dude, and they put me with my friend, Jason Heitzman was his name. And he was the cannon dude. So, like, he'd do the cannon on the, after Reveille and tabs and stuff, pull the cannon and boom, the brain cannon. And he was right there. And we were looking at each other, talking to each other. I threw in a dip. And I was just talking to him. And I was like, listen, I'll make you look good out there. But in here is my time. I'm going to throw and chew, whatever. And we ended up fighting, like, because I was like, if I can beat your ass. And I've never been a striker. I've never been, which is funny because my last name is Striker. But I've never been a boxer. I'm horrible at boxing. Grappling, super fucking good at. Inherently, you know, like I don't like to be fucking, I'm claustrophobic. So automatically I just tuned myself to that. Put him out, choked him out. I was like, this is the way shit's gonna go on. It went on like that, you know, like, and that's kind of how I got through military school.
So you got out of military school at what age? So
I went when I was like 15, 16, and got out when I was 16, 17. Somewhere
then you had a year.
Then I had a year and went to
freedom, and then you went to prison
for 6 years straight.
And then you got out at what? You're 18, 19,
24.
20. You were 24.
Yeah.
What happened after that?
So I got out and like, you know what?
Well, before we get there, prison, help or hurt? You personally?
helped.
Helped.
I would like that's what I was saying. I would never change. I don't think inherently it doesn't help people. Inherently, prison's so fucked up.
But you think it was necessary for you?
I think everything that a person goes through individually in life is necessary for them.
I got you.
I don't think it's necessary for everybody else.
Right. No, I'm just saying, like, you.
And it's fucked up. Like, I don't think, like, you watch, like, a dandelion will grow in the middle of the sidewalk. Nothing else will grow there.
Right.
I think inherently for that dandelion, they need to grow there. You know? Like, it's not. Yeah. So, for me, it had to have happened. Yeah.
Because I know you,
Yeah.
and you're a nice guy to me. Like, I think of you as a good guy.
Yeah.
So I would never know that you would. If you would have never told me
So-
you ever went to prison, I would have never known it.
So, everybody has everything inside of
But
them.
most people don't know that I'm a felon.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. A lot of people don't know.
So
And I went through that, like, so in life, like, we look at stuff and, like, what I was talking about with the kids, like, everybody knows everything now. You know, you can Google something, you can find out. There's, you know, stories I read about that back in the day, people would be felons and they'd be pastors at a church and nobody would know. And then, oh my God, they're pastors. Well, nowadays they can find out in 2 seconds what you're
right, look through your shit.
Yeah, yeah. Like, so, for me, it had to happen. I think our prison system, I think everything is totally fucked up.
Oh well, yeah.
I think that the fact that there's private prisons is fucked up.
I think
That people are making money off of
Oh
shit.
yeah, 100%.
And anytime you can make money off of something, automatically can become corrupt. You
Yeah.
know? I think for me, though, I remember I wanted to be a gangster so bad when I was a kid.
You're
Like,
pretty
I would
gangster.
hear these songs and I was like, I wanted to be that. Like, I so wasn't that. I was like a kid from Breckenridge, Colorado, and ski resort.
You wanted
but
the
I-
Bentleys and bitches and
You know what I'm saying? But that's what I was like.
Slinking Rock.
I was like, I love this shit. This is what I want to be, you know? And I took those lyrics and took that shit and went with it. You know, I was like, if you're going to do this, I'm going to do it 10 times more. If somebody's going to tell me this, I'm going to do it 20 times more. And it was the dumbest shit in the world I did.
Right.
But it changed my life forever because now the biggest gangster shit to me is a person that goes to work 9 to 5 and takes
Right.
care of their family, you know, and like, but I've had to realize that and I've had to see that, and in prison, it taught me so much because there's no Echo, there's no Polo, there's no Levi's, there's no brand that you can wear, there's nothing you can do to change yourself externally. You can grow a beard, they're gonna make you shave it to take a picture. You know what I'm saying? You can
Right.
try to change yourself a little bit, but you're all wearing the same outfit. So you become a master of reading people's
Who they
mannerisms, who they really are. And when you do it, there's this crazy thing when you first get out, you're able to read people like Rain Man shit. Read people like you can just see people.
Well, you can see through their bullshit.
Yeah.
Everything like it's so unreal that if you spend a time in like what do they call that, the chamber where you go in and you're desensitized from everything?
Oh, like a sensory deprivation kind of thing.
That's
like a
what
sensory
prison is, like a
deprivation
sensory deprivation chamber. You just have to read everything purely what it is. So I remember one time I got a letter underneath my door and it was this black dude that was like, "You're cute, we're gonna fuck in the morning."
Oh, that's a note. you
That's
don't
what I
want.
got underneath my door, you know, and I was like, all right, what the fuck am I gonna do? You know? And I took care of the situation, thank God, you know, still haven't
Right.
done anything in my butt, but it was, I mean, at 21 years old, that's a deep letter to get. That's
Oh,
a lot
hell
deeper
yeah.
than somebody saying they're in love with you or some shit.
I would
You
find
know?
that a deep letter if
Yeah.
I got it under my bedroom
Yeah.
door right now.
So you get that, and I mean, there's shit that goes
If
on.
it was hand on the other side of it.
But there's shit that goes on, you know, and there's the one thing though after all that shit is that there's such a heightened respect in prison. Like if I'm walking and I bump into your shoulder, sorry, you go. You know what I'm saying? People out here don't give a fuck.
Right. There has to
And
be this
so-
established like
So in prison you don't know if you're talking to somebody that's got a life sentence and don't give a fuck. You don't know if that dude just got a letter saying his wife just fucked his best friend. You don't know what the fuck's going on with that dude. So there's a super heightened sense of respect, and basic courtesies. Does that
Right.
make sense? So like, please and thank you all the time. Da 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 da. When you get out here, so I went.
And it's one of the only things you got in there, too.
Yeah,
It's
so-
respect.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's super hype, and it's like I went through there smiling the whole time. So I ended up doing all my shit. I ended up doing yoga in there. Like one of my favorite times was like I went through this book. It was like 57 weeks of yoga, and I turned on the radio, and like I ended up getting down to minimum security where I could open my window, and the thunderstorms would be going on, and Pink Floyd would be playing, and I would be doing the plow in the middle of my room, you know, and it was just so spiritual. Like it was like the best thing in the world, and I had this appreciation for words, for knowledge, for books, for Spanish, you know, for languages, like learning this, learning that for people, and getting out. I got a job at the old spaghetti factory.
Spaghetti
downtown.
factory, huh?
And so when I went there, and then at the time I was going to school for Japanese and business at Metro, because my sister was like, you gotta be in college, you gotta, so I figured out all this shit. Just got my apartment, did all this stuff. I'm a server at the old spaghetti factory. They asked me, they're like, well, when I wasn't a server yet, I was a busser. They're like, you're old enough to be a server. And I was like, with all due respect, I have not socialized that much in life.
Oh, yeah. Might be
Like,
a little rough.
Yeah, like, let me work my way up to a server, you know.
Right.
And it wasn't 3 years later that I stopped smiling. I went through from 18 to 24. You couldn't wipe a smile on my face. Like I loved life. Like I seen shit. I remember when I first got out, the light rail station only went from downtown, like what was it, like 17th to Curtis or whatever, to, I don't think it went to Mineral yet. I think it went to Oxford was the last stop, and they were just building the Mineral one, and now it goes everywhere. But I mean, this was then. So I would get off at the Oxford stop, and the halfway house I was in was on Girard and Federal, and I would run all the way there, and smoke cigarettes, and run and look at the trees, and I was like, oh my God, and like hear the birds and the freedom. Because before that, for 6 years, I walked around in a fucking circle.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I walked a lot, but in a fucking circle. Like so to walk a straight line or run a straight line.
So you had a whole nother respect.
Man was the most fucking
I just felt
coolest
like
shit.
running.
Yeah. Like Forrest Gump. See, you can relate so many things to him. I just felt like running.
That's it. That's all you was.
But you know what I'm
That's all it
saying?
was.
Like you just did, and like I remember that. And then one day my mom was like, "You're smiling," and I was like, because I realized this world is a lot more fucked up than prison.
Right.
Like the shit I've had to deal with in this world. Like one of the things that hit me. So I'm walking down 16th Street Mall, and the old spaghetti factory was on 18th and Lawrence at the time. So I get off at like the thing, walk down, and I'm walking by this homeless dude. He's all beat up. And I'm like, and everybody asks me for cigarettes because I smoke. So, yeah, you got a cigarette? I'm like, yeah, here we go. Tell me your story. What's up with your story? He's like, it was when the bum fights were doing the bum fights.
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
that dude. Yeah, I was getting.
Yeah, and so I gave him a cigarette, and he's telling me why he's fucked up and shit. Dude, I started crying inside. I was like, some little punk ass fucking kid paid you $20. Let me beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you don't. When somebody's so down, you don't make them down. You don't fucking hurt them.
Right.
That's something that would never even happen in prison. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And out here it's happening. Like, and then from there on, the constant, the lack of respect, the people seeing, no matter how you divide the world, no matter what you do, the people in the middle, the real estate agents, the mortgage agents, the people in the middle are always the ones making the money. You know what I'm saying? The people that actually do the deed or purchase the deed are the poorest people. So the people that build $1 million house can never afford that $1 million house.
Right.
The ones that can afford it are people that are the middleman, the real estate, the people that make money have figured out, like, so I look at it out here and like the richest people don't do shit. They have the most time to raise their kids, they have the most time to do this shit, and they teach and they grow and they do that shit. You know what I'm saying? But they don't really do shit. That person that built $1 million house will never be able to afford it. The person that bought that $1 million house probably gonna foreclose on it in 2 fucking years. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't value shit. Nothing's the same anymore. One of the best things about money was written. Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. Francisco de Anaconia was the character. Said money is an axiom for trade. The only way money works is if you value somebody else's ability to produce something. They had a whole big thing. Who's John Galt? All this shit. All this dumb shit. Fucking man. Fuck objectivism. Fuck all that shit. Great little excerpt though with Francisco de Anaconia. We live in a world that's just so unbalanced.
Things are definitely changed. I mean,
we live in a world
I
that's so
think
unbalanced.
some of the salt of the earth people are people who came from nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Absolutely.
I'll take my dad for instance. My dad
Amazing person.
Yeah, you've met my dad. My dad is just
Love him.
he's a fucking great guy.
Like
you
my
know?
dad, just down to earth.
Yeah.
This is the way shit's supposed
Yeah.
to happen. This is how
And
shit's gonna go down.
My dad, I'm gonna tear up. Anyway,
Oh, Lord.
Dad's a great guy. He's I hope I'm half the man he is when
And you were
when
my
I'm
dad, yeah.
And my dad keeps this little picture of like he calls it his poor picture because they were poor.
Yeah.
And damn, I want to crown fucking camera. Anyway, you know, my dad has a lot of he's a very
Practical.
he's practical, but I mean he has a lot, but you would never know it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He would give you the shirt off his back to this
Yeah.
day. But he came from a time where he had like
Nothing. Like the
It was
depression
literally
and
had-
shit.
they were allowed one glass of milk a week
Yeah.
kind of shit.
Yeah.
And you know, he had to work up that.
From there.
And I can even say on myself that, you know, like being, my dad had, you know, when my parents divorced or whatever, he didn't even have what he has today. I mean, he was well off. My dad was always more well off than my
Yeah.
mother was. But obviously, when I was growing up, I had anything that I could possibly imagine.
And
you know,
you
my
never
dad
knew the
spoiled
struggles
me,
he did.
You know, and
He always
and I
keeps
look-
that inside. Yeah.
right, and you look back on it, and you're like, my dad is the man that he is today because he came from nothing,
And my
he
dad
worked
too. And
himself
like seeing
up.
that. Yeah.
And you know, I even strive. Like, I don't even think I hit that point where
You're even close to who they are.
right. Like
Right.
I want to be, and I mean, I have a better outlook now. Like, you know, when I go to
Yeah,
work and
yeah.
stuff, like I think about Hannah. I think about my baby.
You never
know,
understand
think-
that when they're raising you. You think they're tough on you. You think
Exactly.
Stuff, but what they do, you got teared up. Like their generation is our superheroes. Like our dad's generations, you know, my dad. I remember I was driving a truck for this company and they didn't have air conditioning, and my dad came back. I don't say from but during the Vietnam War, he was drafted and stuff. But for whatever reason, he ended up in Alaska, doing the games with Russia and stuff, the aircraft and stuff. And I was like, how'd you end up in Russia? And he's like, well, when we were all drafted, he's like, everybody 1, 2, 3, 4, everybody that's 1 step forward, congratulations, you're a Marine. Everybody that's 2 step forward, congratulations, you're in the Navy. Well, he ended up going to the Army, ended up going down to Texas for his training, and then went up to Alaska. Thank God he never went over to Vietnam, you know, and he was my dad. But I was complaining about having air conditioning in my truck. So when he got back from Alaska during the Vietnam War, after being, you know, deployed, he worked in a smelter, a copper mine. And I didn't know they used to have to take tablets off the wall that had salt in it because they would sweat
it
so
out
much.
so much.
Yeah, and I was like, why the fuck if you're that hot, weren't you on water? But they would sweat it out. So he's like, I was complaining about the heater in my truck. I was like, this is unfair, unhumane work conditions. And it's like we don't realize what our parents like actually went through and how, like when I was a kid, it was so hard, and I'm sure with you to relate to our parents. Like they always provided. I never knew we were poor. Like so after that story I told you about military school, my dad didn't start making more than $40,000 a year till after I was already in military school. So he was making less than my high school cost when I was doing. But they never knew it because they budgeted. They took care of shit. They knew, you know, like they ate Spam. They knew how to go and shop with baked potatoes and cook a whole meal off it, you know, $5. We've lost all that.
Yeah.
We've lost it a lot.
My mother was the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother had, I mean, to this day, I think that her bed for some reason was the most comfortable thing on the planet, and that motherfucker was put together by probably 4 or 5 garage sale mattresses
Right.
and that thing, you know. And my little brothers, you know, I didn't live with my mom, and then my little brothers grew up in, you know, my mom gave them they didn't know that. You know, that my mom was probably toward the lowest, lower end of the income spectrum. Yeah. But they never felt, never felt that.
Our parents,
you know, she was just like a strong.
They were taught to never voice that to their children to do that stuff. Yeah. And I think that's really good in ways, and I think it's like really bad in the sense like my dad's a retired banker, my mom's a retired mortgage lender.
Talk to the mic.
My dad's
no, you're good. I'm just saying that you can keep going, but
I have like a 400 credit score. Like I'm like both my parents have like 800 credit scores.
All in the same one.
They never taught me anything. Like I didn't know. Like so, on a how close are we getting closing?
It ends when you're done, or when we feel like we can't talk anymore.
Okay. Well, I can talk some more. Can I get an intermission?
You want an intermission?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to regroup, but I'd like to tell you this first. So what I would like to teach my kids, the 3 most credit. Do not fuck up your credit. I don't care how you don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up, because it will drop 100 points in 2 seconds.
Right.
And it will take 2 years to go up 30 points.
Right.
It's horrible, and don't get a felony.
Yeah.
Those are the 2.
That's a rough one.
Yeah.
We're gonna take an intermission real quick. Can we take an intermission?
You gotta pee or something? You gotta smoke? You want to smoke a cigarette?
Yeah, but can we do a song while we do an intermission?
No, you can go smoke,
dance?
me and Hannah will talk. If you want to go smoke.
You could do the sponsorship and subscribe.
Yeah, if you want to go smoke.
Do you mind?
No, I don't care.
You
can
sure?
smoke. I mean, I wouldn't take 10 minutes, but
Oh, I can smoke quick.
you can go right through that door. Just
Have
don't
you ever
trip over
seen
that
what's
thing.
that Kung Fu Hustle? You know what I'm talking about? Where that lady smokes like a carton of cigarettes.
I don't think she's ever seen Kung Fu Hustle, but I have.
One of the best with the hatches and shit.
Yeah.
So cool. I love Kung Fu.
Yeah, go take your smoke.
Sunday night Kung Fu Theater needs to come back.
All right, go
Joe
take your
Rogan.
smoke.
Do you mind?
No,
Okay.
You sure?
no. This will
You're
give
on
us
that?
this will give us a chance to
Okay.
talk about
What do we-
T-shirts and
how
all
many-
that stuff.
Okay, how many more do we gotta go?
Like I said, we'll end it when we're done talking. Just watch the camera real quick.
Can I go somewhere or go off
No, you
Right
can smoke
there.
off the balcony.
Yeah.
I think it's open. You can just
Hey, will you bring your purse? She brought me a couple shots of purse.
all right. For all those who are still listening, we'll just take that time to we have T-shirts,
Available.
For sale.
We have like
a bunch of them.
a lot.
Hit us up, thebeardlady@gmail.com. Email me your size if you want one, or how many that you want. I'll send you an invoice, and then once you pay the invoice, we'll ship them right out. We got every size. I think from small.
We have every size left, I think,
I just haven't counted them, so don't.
but we can tally them and put
Yeah,
them online.
but
anyway.
there's plenty.
But there's a
So
lot
don't
left.
hesitate. If you would like a T-shirt, definitely hit us up. I don't have one, or I would show somebody. I would show it, but
They're the newest ones that we have out.
yeah, we have it on our Instagram. So we have T-shirts.
Facebook, Instagram. They're kind of on
Right.
it.
What else do we want to talk about? As far as like, oh, I'll just say this before I forget. This podcast wouldn't be possible without the people who like donated to our GoFundMe and stuff. I know I haven't said anything
Yeah,
about
it's
it,
been
and I
a
haven't really
while.
kept up with the thing, but I would just like to say, we would like to say
We
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. Like, this whole thing is like, it definitely wouldn't have been done without y'all. Thank you so much. We super appreciate it. It's so fun to us. It gives me and Hannah and Alan something to do, and hopefully that we make it good for y'all. And if you ever, I mean, you can always leave comments and stuff in the bottom of the video, or you can DM us or something if you want to see something change, or you have an idea. We're completely
or even if
open
you're
to it.
interested on being interviewed.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely.
And I say interview. Interview sounds so.
We just come hang out with us, I guess.
Yeah, come hang out with us.
Or
Like,
be on the podcast.
Seth was
If you have anything
worried
to
about
offer.
like what we were gonna do. What is this about? It's like, this is what it's about. It's just like us hanging out. So if you're interested,
Hit us up.
yeah, hit us up. Come talk to us. It gives us probably the less I know you, the better it would be, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or the less I see
The more
you, the
we can
probably
learn
better.
about you.
Yeah, the more we can talk and stuff. So again, just thank you everybody who donated to the GoFundMe. I think it's actually still up. The rest of it, I guess that's there, would buy us another camera for the most part, so we could have like a switch between the
Yeah,
cameras and
different
stuff like
angles and
that,
stuff.
different angles.
A duty cam.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Like I
Valid.
said, every little bit helps. We don't have like a Patreon. We're not making any kind of crazy money or anything. So
Zero.
yeah, we're making zero money off this. Like I said, thank y'all for everything that y'all have done. T-shirts are for sale. What else we got coming up?
Coming up?
Tattoo convention.
Yeah, the convention's coming up very soon.
I will be at the Denver Villain and Arts Tattoo Convention at August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th with my boy Matt Kurth. He's coming up here. We're sharing a booth together. I'm not sure what his schedule is. I think he's been on kind of vacation. I don't know what today. What is today, date-wise? 15th? I think he's
14th.
on vacation till the 17th, so I don't really know his schedule. But, I mean, you can always hit me up, check out his work. I think it's at Matt, Matt TX. Shit. I'll have to post it. I'll probably post it in the bottom of this video. I'll find his Instagram. I've collaborated with him before. He's coming up. I'm sure if you want some work before him or by him when he comes up here, fucking hit me up. I'll get to him. But I know he's on vacation right now, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he turned his fucking phone off. I wouldn't blame him. But I'll hit him up when he hits me up. But if you want to get tattooed by me, there's spots open. I'll be running good special prices for stuff that I've drawn or stuff that I really want to do. So if you like my artwork, if you like snail shit, if you like old school like cartoon black, I did that whole flash sheet and I haven't done one of them off of it. If you like old like Cuphead, old Mickey Mouse black and gray cartoon weird shit, hit me up. We'll do some special prices on that. I know I got one Sunday. I got a guy that I'm working on like a pretty big piece, but I don't know when. But Friday and Saturday, I'm completely open. So if you want to do some stuff, maybe we can win some awards. Hit me up at Baby Bozier, or you can hit me through the Instagram at The Beard and Lady. Yeah, August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So coming up pretty quickly.
You're a badass motherfucker, you know that?
I'm not that badass, man.
No,
I'm a teddy
are.
bear. You already said I'm a teddy bear.
Yeah.
I know, but just, you're one of the coolest people I ever met. And I love, like, when you guys post stuff together. Like, you guys are an amazing couple.
When I talk about their butt won't quit and shit like that.
Well, just how honest, just like how good you're a person. Like, I've seen a lot of people in my life. You're a good ass dude.
Well, thank you, man. I try to be real. You know, I try to be.
And your tattoos, like, you can promote them all you want. If you want the best shit, go to Justin. If you don't, go to anybody else.
I just
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I just like for people to have a good time, and I like them working for the shop that we have
atmosphere
near.
is good. Your atmosphere is good. You're a good person, but I'm just saying, as far as your work goes, there's no below. I've gotten tattoos from many people in many different places, and your line work, just everything is superb. And then the added bonus is you're just a fucking badass motherfucker.
Right.
But just even if you were a dick, like your artwork speaks for itself.
But I'm not a dick. I'm actually the
that's what I'm
opposite
saying.
of a
So
dick.
you got a promotion. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Cake and ice cream too, or some shit.
I mean, you liked me some reason. We weren't always
I've
this
always-
close.
No, but like when I first started,
You were just some random dude asking me about a throat tattoo back then.
Throat tattoo, yeah. I love it. It's my favorite tattoo. Hands
Do you
down
get
my
compliments
favorite
on
tattoo.
it? Do people like it?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, all the time. Like, and then you know what? I've got people that are like, "Did you get that a long time ago?" Because they're confused because I'm older and I got a throat tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think still in society, it's still. For me, it was like, all right, I got my knuckles done, I got my hands done, I want my throat done. That's why I was like, the next probably gonna be on my face.
You need to come
like,
get that. No, you got your whole
Yeah,
freaking
I
stomach.
got
I
that.
have that thing
Yeah.
drawn up.
Oh, okay, too. So I found the best bitch cream in the world. This is a shout out. You better fucking pay me for this shit. Not you. These motherfuckers. Green Cane. It's GREEN Cane. I watched this little motherfucker on it, and I researched it because I was like, all right, this
Did
is
you
what it told
research
me.
the first two you did? Because those
Yeah,
didn't
they
work.
sucked. They sucked. Then that dude at the shop, remember, told me about the anal cream, and then my sister that's a doctor told me about the same shit. So apparently the cream that they use for hemorrhoids,
Okay.
anal cream, it's like the best shit in the world. This shit's even better than this. The reason why I tell you that it's better than this, like I said, I don't like speak on that, of which I don't really know. I watched this little 18-year-old, pardon my French, punk ass kid getting his first tattoo all the way across his chest. Did a whole video. I'm gonna put this on, did no shit. He sat the whole fucking time. You can watch, like, you can fake certain shit. His eyes didn't flutter. Like, he was relaxed getting it.
Where you need some of that.
Yeah.
He
You
was
do.
relaxed. No, I do. I need.
It'll take us
all
5
over
years
it.
to
Yeah.
get through that chest
Yeah.
if it's.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take a bathtub full of it and soak in it. Then that way, if you're like, oh, and I was thinking about that ever too, because I think this is a prize-winning tattoo. I think we could go to conventions with it. But then I was like, what if we're at a convention and you're like, oh, let me just do something like a snail on you, and I'm like, oh fuck.
I do a cool
Well, I'm just
snail
gonna-
with a backwards hat. And
Well,
stuff
no,
on it.
I'm just gonna bathe in this shit. So I'm gonna be like, where do you want it?
We should
put
just
it
do
on me.
something with some
So
orange
then
on
it
you.
doesn't
Don't you
hurt.
like orange or green?
I do. I have orange right here. Everybody thinks that's drawn on. That's
Yeah.
a kanji. But yeah, I love, and I'm like at that skin tone where everything shows up. Well, not here. So I've been out in the sun.
We should do it on them. Like,
This
I know
is
you
my
probably got some
normal-
white thighs
That's
or
my
something.
normal color.
That's what we're gonna do.
Like,
You
yeah.
need to give me a leg or something.
Yeah, I can. I'll give you like. So I want to do this. I got this in prison. This is actually a tattoo I did. My first tattoo. So I got a gun.
I'll give it to you. It's really not.
I got
that
a
bad.
gun when I was in prison. No, it sucks, but I was like, what am I gonna do?
It was. I've seen
What
worse.
am I gonna do for my first tattoo? I was like a black and white killer whale orca. I love orcas. Orcas like Free Willy. Who doesn't fucking love orcas?
Yeah, but they're motherfuckers. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They
they're-
whip your ass quick.
Dude,
They
they're
eat sharks
crazy.
and shit.
Yeah, they eat sharks. Did you ever see that Facebook video of that one that went down and fucking killed a great white? Like they had.
Yeah,
one
they're
of them
motherfuckers.
back-
they're like super fucking tough.
Super tough. And then did you ever see Telecom Made Me Cry? I hate that fucking shit off of Netflix because they talk about the first killer whale. It was like.
Was it
and he-
Blackfish? Was that the show you're
No,
talking
it was
about?
Telecom. It might
Oh.
have been. It was so like it was the first one.
Was that its name?
Telecom was his name. He was
Oh.
first in Canada, and then he went down like San
I
Francisco.
think I saw the show
And he
Blackfish.
killed,
It might
like,
have been
three
about that or
people. He
something.
killed like three people,
Yeah.
3 of his trainers. But the way they treated him
Yeah,
was
it's
like
pretty
so
horrible.
fucked up. And I was
Yeah.
like, and so and two with veganism and stuff like that. Like I think we're omnivores, and I think that shit. I think we eat whatever. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like what we do to fucking animals and how smart we're supposed to be, like that's fucked up. And that's not something we need to get into right now. But it's fucked up what people do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Oh.
saying? Anyways, so I decided I was going to do this. Well, get the tattoo done.
Okay. I'm
And I
ashamed.
put my leg like this so I can do it. Well, what happens when your leg's like this? Your circulation all gets cut off.
Oh yeah.
So I'm doing it and shit, and I'm like, oh wow, it's coming out good. Well, I'm drilling it down. Like I can't feel anymore. There's no feeling in it. But I'm still like super like I'm in my cell, and I'm like
Uh-huh.
focused on it. I'm like, this is cool, you know, da 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 da. Well, I'm drilling like that far down in my skin with this gun, with a guitar string,
Yeah.
like on the whole fucking the
Top
fan
notch
motor.
stuff
Yeah.
is what you're
Yeah.
talking.
Top notch shit. So I get done with it and shit. And
a
I'm
bunch
like,
of ramen
oh,
noodles.
that came out fucking cool. And then the next day, or maybe like 2 days later, you could take like the tip of a pencil and put it. Like I thought for sure my leg was gonna get amputated and shit.
Oh.
One thing I've learned.
Turn it into.
Anything, this is swear by shit. Neosporin does not take the ink away from your tattoos. It doesn't. So like if you get an infection with a tattoo, you can put Neosporin on it and it won't take the ink away.
I'll tell you right now, for those who are listening, do not use Neosporin on your tattoos.
Yeah, don't. But this is so anyways, I squirted whatever the jailhouse thing of Neosporin was. It took like a year for this to heal. To
But you
where I
did it
could-
the right way and everything. I mean, it's like it's facing a good way.
Yeah, so like,
It
and
doesn't
I
look
researched it,
horrible.
like so flames, like people get flames going. You want everything to be like. If I'm an artist, so I always understood that. Like, if you get flames, you don't want flames going this way because your body doesn't inherently go. In
You don't
that
put your
direction.
tattoos upside
Yeah.
down on your wrist and
Yeah,
shit like that.
all that stuff.
That's what
right?
it was.
So
So he's
frustrating.
going like jumping and doing like. So I understood that part. But after that, I was like, yeah,
But from what I can see, to
I
be
probably
honest, it
should have
doesn't
done
look
that
horrible.
on another person.
I've seen
Right.
worse tattoos
Yeah.
by people who would claim to be an artist.
Right. So
you
like,
did pretty good.
I think I could do tattoos, and especially if I got
Besides
like,
the
to
shaking
where-
part.
Yeah, if I got over the shaking. Well, I don't shake when I drink,
Well,
which
you
I
don't
probably
want-
shouldn't do. But like, it's just a different medium. It's a medium that I haven't experienced, and there's
Yeah.
people that can be badass painters that suck at drawing, and there's people that can be badass tattoo artists that suck at painting. Like, it's whatever your medium is, whatever. And when you can lose yourself in that, you know,
Yeah.
and where you can become the best at what you do. That's what you do. Like, I would never, I mean, see that example right there where you're like, that's not the best. Like, you just compliment me. You just kind of, now I'm like, fuck, I should be a tattoo artist. Do you see what I'm saying, though?
Right.
With the greatness, you encourage people. Like, you'll meet somebody that's not good at what they do, and they'll be like, that shit sucks. Like, you did that. Do you see the difference? Kind of like you're the Bruce Lee of tattoo artist.
I'm the Bruce Lee of man.
Nice
Co-
to meet you, Bruce
Copy
Lee.
that. Or
Nice
we
to
should
meet you, Bruce.
we should write that on a T-shirt or
But
something.
you know what I'm saying? Like, when you become great at something, you encourage people, you know, and like, you look at it, this is nothing close to what you could do. And yet you didn't criticize it, you didn't do nothing. That's exactly the personification of what I was telling you about greatness. That's why he's great, my friend.
So I just say it's not as bad as I've ever seen.
No, but it's
I'm just joking.
It's the way
I
you
know.
said it. It's just, when people are truly great at something, they don't ever criticize you. They always try to build you up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like Hannah tells me all the time that I'm not fat.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, I do.
She's like,
Dude, I've gained so
baby,
much weight, and it's what's funny because you guys were talking about the sympathy weight. Oh my God, when I had my 2 kids, I gained so much weight, and I've never lost it, ever. Like, I don't know how to do it, but you gain it, and I think it's because you're just around it. You know what I'm saying? Like, kids constantly have to be fed.
Mm-hmm.
They constantly have to do that. The you know, like, you're trying to do all this stuff. Like, of course you're gonna eat more.
yeah.
You know, it's human, biological thing for survival, you know. And men naturally gain weight. And then the fact that you're not, like, it's like when you get a girlfriend, you gain weight. Because you're not on the market. The shit that, like,
Hannah just feed me stuff. She just
like the single guys
like
that
a-
are
it's
like,
like a
the single
deterrent.
guys that are like out of the clubs and shit, they're all buff and they're doing this and they're like, yeah, da da da. Like, motherfucker, get a girl, get some vagina, settle down for a second. You're gonna lose all that, dude, because you're doing shit. You're a peacock. You're throwing up all those feathers for a reason. I'm fine with who the fuck I am. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care.
I mean,
I got a beautiful girlfriend. I got amazing kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool.
I always tell people I'm a prime example of personality get you a long ways in this
Yeah.
life.
But you know what I'm saying? It don't matter. Like, we do things like those people, I think, sometimes. I mean, I've met people that really enjoy working out. I've met people that really like going to church. I've met people, if that's your thing, you really
Right.
like it, do it for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Be a Christian. Work out all the time. Be a tattoo artist because you really love it and that's what you are. You know?
Right.
And you can see the difference. Like, you'll meet preachers that are like really into what they're doing.
Right.
And you can see it. They're connected with God. So whether that's the wrong religion or the right religion, they're doing the right thing. They love it.
Right.
When you meet a tattoo artist, you're connected with God. You're connected to that source. You lose track of time.
Well,
Like-
I've told him, like, well, I didn't tell him, but I was thinking about it the other day, like, the days that I just sit at the shop, like, if I don't have an appointment or whatever, and if I
You
can just
watch
draw
the
or whatever, it's
time.
kind of like, you know, and I come home, and it's not like I'm having a bad day or anything like that, but, like, yesterday, I tattooed this wonderful lady. I won't say her name or anything, because I don't know if she wants me to, but she's a sweetheart, and it's these 3 ladies, actually, and they're fucking hilarious. Anyway, you know, I tattooed her for, I think I got up there, I think our appointment was I tattooed at noon, I had an appointment at noon, and then I started her at 3, then we tattooed till, what time did I get home last night? Like 7?
6:30.
6:30? 7, somewhere in there.
So like
But it-
4 hours.
It was just like a nice, like, but I came home like a really, like, that tattooing for me puts me in a really, like,
because you're
I'm
connected.
tired, and, you know, so, like, I've tattooed her sister for like 9.5 hours. I'm tired, but like I feel like my day's like so much better. Like, you get like
But you're
Connected.
connected. Like,
excited.
you're connected
Like,
to
I
that.
get
God source or like whatever that.
Like, it's
So
almost
when-
like a drug to me.
Yeah,
Like,
when
putting
you-
out a really good tattoo, the way I feel after that is really, like,
you're
I'm
doing
high on
exactly what you're supposed
Like,
to
it
do.
makes me super excited.
And the way for people to tell that too, like if you were sitting at the tattoo shop all day, or like let's say you weren't even doing tattoos, let's say you were in like Ross as a security guard, you would watch that clock, and that clock would go by 15 minutes, and it seemed like forever. And then when you're tattooing, 4 hours seems like not enough time.
Right.
It seems like it just went by too quick. Because you lose track of time because you're connected to that
And you can-
greater source of energy.
And it's not even an art thing. You can definitely tell, like,
But no, yeah, anything like
you can
anything
definitely
you do.
pick out the person who loves their job.
When
like,
you forget
there's
about time.
There's a black guy at the freaking post office that we go to.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
He is the night, like,
He
Loves it.
remembers.
all
who
he's
you are.
doing is he's doing a post office guy. And
But
usually
he
you
loves
go there
it.
and
That's
everybody's
his
like,
connection.
all these young guys are like fucking pissed off that they're there. But this dude,
Loves it and gives a different flair to it.
Oh, man,
owns it. Owns that shit.
it's
But
like we're
that's
best
when you're
friends every time I go
connected.
in there. I'm
Yeah.
like,
When you're
man, this guy's
connected-
freaking amazing.
You can go pray at church all day. You can do whatever. When you connect yourself with that energy of this world, that God energy, that's when you become. That's when you become somebody that everybody remembers. No matter what you do, there's a place for everybody. There's a time for everything. But when you do that, you'll be the person everybody remembers. You'll be the guy at the post office. You'll be, when you look, the simplest way, what I want to teach my kids to is, when you find a job to where you're not looking at when you clock in and when you clock out, not if you find a job not doing your passion, because I think that's wrong sometimes, because I think there's things that people like doing as a hobby, and then if they do it in real life,
for sure.
they get totally jaded by it. So not that, but when you find something where that clock, when time stops,
Right.
go
That's
with it, man. Do that shit. Like,
And that's how I know that,
yeah.
like, I'm doing, like, what I like to do.
Yeah.
Because I've told her, like, now that I own my own shop and I get to go there and stuff, it doesn't even feel like I'm, like, I almost,
Working.
like, it's like, I don't even feel like I have a job.
Yeah.
Sometimes I, like, sit back and I'm like, maybe I should, like, but we're doing fine. Obviously, like,
yeah.
we're paying the bills, things are getting
Yeah.
done, but I almost feel like, damn, I don't even
Don't
really
have a
do
job,
anything.
yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I'm doing much. Like, maybe I should be doing more.
Because
I'm
you
like,
could,
no,
yeah,
like, I
you,
did work.
You're doing like,
You know?
you're doing like what you're given, like,
And that's a nice feeling.
yeah,
You
dude,
know, it's
it's
a good-
amazing.
Like, out there, if you're not doing that, do that.
I
Because
do
it's a
that.
great
The
feeling.
only way I've ever found that I do that is with woodworking. When I'm woodworking, like, I never feel like I have enough time.
I wish I could do
I
something
always
like
feel
that. I
like
just
when
can't
I'm
do it.
starting on it, and that's so like my artistic thing is more woodworking. I think like like being able to, like, I have a passion about wood.
Well, you should make me something for the shop then.
I would absolutely, yeah. Well, I've been buying tools too.
Yeah, make me something.
Yeah, I'll make you some.
Sweet.
Did you see I got on my Instagram that Colorado flag I made out of wood? Because remember I told
I
you, so
think
I
I've
have,
s-
I have a shawl in there that I did. Remember I,
think
told
I
you I'm
did.
not a crocheter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
did
love
see
those
it.
Colorado flags. I can make those in like an hour.
Make me
But
something.
one thing about art, and it's so like messed up, is art is never valued at what it really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as people want shit for cheap. Like, they'll be at, go get a tattoo, that's what you're gonna get, or people want this. Like, true art is priceless. Like, you're given a piece. True art, you're given a piece of your soul. You know what I'm saying? And I think for a lot of artists, like, you know, when I was doing that mural downtown, I was going to school at the Art Institute for Photography, and I was just trying to submerge myself into that art world. And it was like every person I seen doing it was just poor, you know. And you see these really rich people come through, like Santa Fe on Fridays, the first Fridays or
Yeah.
whatever,
Right.
and they buy this shit from selected people, you know, and they leave like it's like their fuck toy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. These people are still poor. They're still doing their shit, and it's like not, you know,
That old starving
yeah,
artist thing.
the starving artist, and like people are like, well, what happened to your art? And I'm like, I had 2 kids, like I had to stop doing it. But it's what's cool is like, and I've told even Nikki, because her daughter really wants to get into art and stuff, and
Well, I've told you you
and
can come hang out.
yeah, I told Nikki already, her daughter, you know, she's into that stuff. And I told Nikki, I was like, one of the few people I know that's a successful artist is Justin. That's actually bridged that gap between the two. You know,
Yeah.
mad props to that.
It wasn't easy. I have to
No,
shout out a
no.
lot to my dad.
Yeah.
He helped me financially
Your
through that
dad.
little.
I wish your dad was here. Like
He's watching.
mad.
Yeah.
He's
Is he?
watching, yeah.
Love you, pops.
He'll definitely watch.
That's good.
I don't know if he's asleep right now. He's got work in the morning.
Oh
Probably,
yeah,
but
yeah.
He's definitely probably watching.
It was, I don't know, dude. Like, yeah, from the moment everything happens for a reason, I think. And me walking in and wanting to throw peace and like to where we're at right now, you know, it's
Yeah.
just amazing.
I'm glad we get to be friends.
Yeah, I'm
It's
honored,
been
dude.
good.
Like I said, like there's people, like I said, Bruce Lee and shit that echo throughout time, you know, and tattoos are like an insane. You know, you have like the Omni, the Miami Ink, dude, and you have all these. Like, I think you could be that. You know what I'm saying? Not that, because you're so much better, and not better than him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own thing that they do, but in a world that's so competitive like that, dude, you stand out. Like, I have your sticker with the bearded,
Yeah.
you know, and my daughter was like, "This is my favorite sticker," and I was like, "That's Justin. That's like a actual like."
That's
how
kind of what he looks like.
Yeah, that's kind of what he looks like. You know, and it's on her PS4, you know, and she's like, "Oh, it's so cool." And I have the Frosty the Snowman, and I think I grabbed this stack from you and just put it all on their PS4s, and they love it, you know, like but transcending, you know, and doing that and putting your merchandise out there, having this podcast, like doing the stuff you do, you're an innovator. Like you're,
I just like talking to people. I just like, I don't know. Like I enjoy my time. Like there's obviously, I mean, I'll be honest with you. There's people that you tattoo that you're just like, I can't wait to get to the end of this.
Right.
But I will say that I was probably 90 to 95% of my clientele that come and see me. People like you, people like the lady that I tattooed yesterday. You know, there's
three
a couple.
you said with
Yeah, those
us,
three ladies.
Yeah.
People, you know, those clients are. I don't even consider them client. These people are my friend. I enjoy spending that time. You know, I'll come home and I'll tell him, and like, yeah, I got a tattoo so and so, but it's really not like I'm tattooing. I've told it to my dad. It's like I'm just looking forward to hanging out with that person.
And you got
You know?
the support, like, because people can see, like, your dad, like, all the struggles and all the stuff he's been through. He has so much pride in you, like, hanging out with him and, like, when we went over to the bar and, like, talking to him and just his interaction. He's just got, like, a perma grin on his face when he's dealing with you. He's, like, so proud of you. And then to have Hannah as your backbone, you know, and, like, that relationship and to do what you do, like, that's not by accident. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not. That's not because you're a disgruntled prison tattoo artist, you know, or you're not. This is reason. There's a reason why that energy's all drawn to you. Does that make sense?
Well, thank you.
Like, man,
You talk. I can't hear this stuff too much. I'm gonna just get too big headed all the time.
you can.
Maybe
like
that's why
some
we don't hang
people-
out too much. Yeah, I can't sit by
Like
myself
some
too much.
people, you know, compliments are well deserved. I don't compliment that many people. Like sometimes I do,
But I do appreciate
but it
it.
just.
In all seriousness.
It just, like I said, I'm baffled at like what you did. I sat there, this tattoo all the way done. A day later, did not scab, was healed. Like when I say healed, I could slap it, I could do whatever. There was nothing. There was nothing. There was no. It was the. I don't know how does tattoo like the 7th layer of skin. Whatever was done so perfect. There was no blowouts in the lines. There was no. You were there, weren't you, Nikki? The day after I got it hung, was there any scabbing? Nothing, huh?
I think you called me.
Yeah, I think
At
she was
like
there. And I think
midnight
I
or something.
Yeah, because I was like looking in the mirror, and it just, like I said, I've gotten tattoos, and this guy that did Carpe Diem on my hand and did a lot of this stuff, freestyle, one of the baddest ass tattoo artists I've ever met. Because he was in prison, he had to do everything on a time schedule before fucking anybody got caught. Free-handed, all these letters are beautiful. I love him. I won't change this part of anything. But he's good at what he does. He's super good at lettering, super good at quick tattoos, that shit. But there's blowouts. There's like parts you can look at. There's no flaws on your skin. Absolutely none. The fact that you're a cool dude to talk to the whole time, like, win-win for everybody. Right?
Yeah, it helps having a
And
good
if
client.
you look at it, you're like, it was funny because at work, I was trying to defend one of my coworkers. He's a loader operator, and he's this Mexican dude, and he's kind of slow. And the foreman dude is a Mexican dude, and he hates white dudes. He told us, like, he was a dick to me, and he told me, like, I basically had my whole life handed to me. Like, dick, dude. Anyways, so I started doing, that's why I did that Coca-Cola shit the other day when I was doing, so I started doing the safety meetings in Spanish. And I started talking to him in Spanish and opening, like, some stuff up to him, you know? And so I told him, I was like, Avel, which is Abel, I was like, Avel is doing good work. And he's like, you don't even know shit about this. How do you know he's doing good work? And I was like, I don't know shit about Kung Fu. I know fucking Jet Li's a good Kung Fu artist, right?
Right.
I don't know how to do Kung Fu. I know, because you can tell by the movement when
Right.
somebody does a movement. Like, if I'm in the kitchen and that's not my home, you can tell right away. Does that make sense?
Right.
Right.
I don't have to be a chef to tell you if you're good or not. I eat the shit, it tastes good. but beyond that, if I watch you in the kitchen, if your movements are sloppy, if you're not comfortable, right? You're learning it. That's it. When you
Or
tattoo,
you just look like you're in your element.
when you tattoo. So when this dude does it, he's slow, but his shit's so fucking precise. It's not even funny. Like the loader, like the shit just comes so naturally to him, and he's slow because he's doing it right.
Right.
Which to me is slow is good. Or I forget how it goes, but something's fast, anyways, right?
Right.
Something it worked. There's a saying that I fucked it all up, but anyway. So like when you're doing it, you know, like I don't need to be a loader operator to tell if he's good at it. I can tell by the movements I can watch.
Right.
I'm an observer. A lot of people, you know, you can see. You don't need to tell if somebody's good in the kitchen. You can watch them in the kitchen. You don't need to tell if somebody's good at mowing a lawn. You can watch if they're fumbling and don't know. But then when they're connected, what you do, Justin, is like you're connected with tattoos. There's nothing you fumble on. Your shop, when I was getting my neck done, the dude said he failed every other shop he went to, and he's like, he spent 5 minutes in your shop and was like, this is perfect. You went into that shop, you opened it, you had so much pride. I'm sure I didn't even look, but I'm sure everything was arranged in primary colors, secondary colors, all this shit. But the detail you paid to the cleanliness of it, the detail from start to finish, that's your home. That's where you live, you know?
Right. Well, thank you, homie.
That's what makes you different than most people.
I'm probably
Period.
not good.
And,
Well, thank you.
you know,
I'm not good at taking too much.
I'm horrible at taking compliments.
Well, thank you. But in all seriousness, I joke and stuff, but I really do appreciate it, and clients like yourself.
And that's just not
Friends
to
like
blow you
yourself
off,
are just
because
like-
that's just to tell you, like, there's certain shit that needs to be respected. And I'm kind of gifted in a way to articulate shit to where people understand. And that's what you do, a 5-star service, and that's your home. You know, your wall. Like, I know the Japanese, they lived in paper houses, you know, and they had their wall, which is the energy of the house. And people didn't shout or yell because they didn't want to disturb their neighbors. Like, so everything was really, you know, methodical. You're just, man, I don't know.
You speak too good about me.
You're like a samurai at tattoos.
There's another one.
Yep.
All right, I'm done.
All right, well, are we done with this?
No, not my ear just gotta go.
Oh,
I guess, I don't know.
okay.
I've been going for a long time. You guys haven't really talked about yourselves a lot.
Well, I'm just been
About the
listening to you talk.
beautiful baby that's coming.
Well, yeah, we
Yeah.
do. Yeah, she's kicking, man.
So
That-
lucky.
It scares me
Crazy.
sometimes, though.
I know.
Because if
Why?
she doesn't sleep like she does right now, I will
It
never
always
sleep.
reminded me of like the alien shit.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
Like
getting
how it
crazy.
was weird, like, you know, in like the movie The Alien.
It's
Yeah.
getting crazy.
And then, you know what screwed me up? And you're having a daughter too. So my first was a daughter. And I always thought babies were so ugly.
Bro,
Like,
I
was
worry
like,
about
I
it.
was like,
I don't think that
He's
babies
so
are ugly.
scared.
they just looked weird.
No.
They wasn't.
He says that he's seen ugly babies and he's horrified that
Okay,
his
so
kid is
listen,
gonna be ugly.
listen. I thought every baby was ugly, and I hated the whole idea of this shit. And I was like, so when I have my, I'm gonna tell you the shit that goes. First of all, and this is pretty graphic, so if anybody's under, no, I'm not. So, but they put iodine on the
Okay.
and it's like a Salvador Dali painting. It's so surreal. Like it changes. It goes from what you were trying to get into to a Salvador. Like it's extremely realistic because you're looking at it, but it's so surreal. And then it happens, and then they ask you cut that. Like they asked me to cut that umbilical cord. Cut it. They do something that I want to prepare you for if nobody else has. They grab your baby, throw it in a fucking towel. When I mean throw it, like it's rough.
Like a chest pass?
Yes, like they grab the baby, start powdering it. Like you will want to look away during this.
Alan's like, yeah.
Look away during it. It's like they're used. That's their home.
Right.
Like how tattooing's your home. That's their home.
Yeah,
They've
that's
done
definitely
like-
not my home.
This is 20 people. I'm like, I don't know whether to kill him or what I'm supposed to do right now. Fight for my baby's life. So they do that. But like babies are resilient. Like babies are a lot more resilient than people give them credit for. So they do that. And then they hand her to her mom. And I'm watching. And I talk a lot. We've seen that on this podcast. I had no fucking words, dude.
Speechless.
Tears were rolling. I was like, this is the most beautiful fucking thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. Like, I see my daughter for the first time, and I was like, so fucking humbled in life. Like, so I know what you're saying. Like,
I
It's
think
gonna-
other people's kids.
No,
I've
I
seen
know.
pretty kids.
I know.
That's what I'm
I've
worried
seen
about.
Gerber
I
baby
want-
kids. I've seen,
I want
when
that
they
pretty.
first come, nothing's pretty when it first comes
Yeah.
out. I'm just telling you that right now. You've seen like Gerber baby kids after they've been.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, from the stage 1 to stage 2, your
They all look
baby's
the
gonna be
same.
gorgeous, dude.
She always
Like-
told. She's like, it's gonna be your baby. You're
Dude,
gonna be
and
fine.
the-
I'm like,
Their
I know
heads
what an
can
ugly
be
baby looks
heads
like.
can be like elongated like cone
Mhm.
childs and
Right.
shit. Because it's all soft.
Yeah.
Like it can be what you're gonna go through is like a Salvador Dali painting. Like it's gonna be fucked up. But I guarantee you, dude, if you can talk, by the time that baby gets in Hannah's arms, I'll give you $100 fucking cash. I know that shit because tears are gonna be rolling.
Oh, I'm a
You're
big
gonna be-
salty
he's-
dog. I'm just.
But
Gonna,
you're gonna and like for me,
bro,
dude,
I sit
I'm
on her
not-
belly at nighttime.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's
it
gonna
makes me tear up. sometimes.
But how you think there's nothing that's going to prepare you? Remember what I said. Don't speak of that of which you haven't experienced. If you can call me, I will give you $500 fucking dollars on this podcast if you can call me the second that baby hits her arms.
I'm gonna tell you right now,
You
you're gonna
can't.
you're gonna be $500
Yeah, you
rich
can.
because I
You
ain't
can.
I ain't gonna do
You
it.
just, dude, you're going to see, dude. It's so unreal. The shit that happens in that moment is so unreal, dude. It's nothing. I don't think it should be videotaped because I don't think it could actually, like a
Capture
picture
it.
could capture what's
We're
going
having
on.
the podcast in there.
Oh, are you?
Oh God.
You're
This
like,
whole
oh.
setup, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Could I be there? Could I be the
put these-
commentator? I'd like to be
Put
the
these
commentator.
headphones on, baby.
Yeah.
Let's get this
No,
done.
it's like something that can't, like the feeling can.
Yeah, I'm
And you know what's crazy? Your dad probably thought that the same thing when you came out.
oh yeah.
Look at you now.
He said I look like a spider monkey.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Spider Monkey.
He
What
said I
was
had
that movie? where
Black hairs just
it's
coming
like
out
you would
everywhere.
jump. Yeah.
But
You had black. My daughter was bald for 2 years.
that's what
what
she's
I'm
scared
worried
of.
about.
She wants
My daughter was bald
flowing
for 2
locks.
years. Now my daughter has so much hair you can't control it. She looks like a lion at a like.
At the end of the day, it's gonna happen because
Because I remember my
I
sister
love
got married and my daughter was like one of the flower girls or whatever. And this was when she was like a year and they couldn't even put a bow in her hair. And now my daughter, like, you're like have a foot on her back and like combing her hair like this. Like it's, it's different. Like she was a bald headed baby. Like it took her like 2 years. I came out with blonde hair, blue eyes, I have green eyes and I'm bald now. Like
yeah, I had
you never know.
I think I had black hair and now I'm bald.
Yeah. It's crazy, like you never know, dude.
I
Like,
went out I came in way more hair than I'm gonna go
Yeah.
out. I'm gonna be out with,
I think all my shit like migrated. Like it just went from here all the way down my back, like my
yeah,
arms.
mine just melted
Yeah.
down my
Yeah.
face.
Like it migrated.
That's the reason
Yeah.
I don't want to cut this thing.
Yeah.
This is what I got left.
Hold
That's all I
on
got
to it.
left, man.
Hold on. Don't let it go. Don't let it go.
I tell you, I used to tell her all the time. I was like, I had great hair. I had fine,
Dude, I had
baby fine hair.
blonde locks. Dude.
I was wonderful at 20, and then somewhere before
20,
I hit
so-
21, It was gone.
So about 1920, I was in a prison barbershop, and they used to have to use the thinning shears
Yeah.
to get my hair to lay down because it was so thin.
right.
And it was like 2021, and I went, and they're like, I was like, aren't you gonna use those shears? No, dude.
It's like, no, you ain't got enough hair.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck, dude? And then I hung
Yeah,
onto
don't
the
do
faux
that.
hawk, and then I hung onto the faux hawk for a while, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. And then I was like, man, there's no amount you shave off here to make you look like you got hair up there. You know?
I will give myself credit on this. When I did start going bald,
He just accepted
it just bald became my
Yeah,
new
see,
hair
that
color.
was, and
I didn't try to just hold
No.
on to that.
See, I held on to the faux hawk for a minute, but like
No.
I said, like in military school, like I always accepted, I always had a shaved head,
Right.
which is really hard for my son being half black. He loves the afro,
Mm-hmm.
and his afro, he's 10 years old. He don't take care of it like
Yeah.
he should. And it was real funny too. Is I got into it with one of my boys' girlfriends, and she's like talking about how like black kids should be raised by black women or whatever. And I was like, I'm just gonna cut you off with that real quick.
Right.
Because
object.
because my baby's mom had my daughter this morning. Her mom had my daughter this afternoon. My baby's mom had her again. She just showed up to my house and I gotta comb her fucking hair.
Right.
So she had 2 generations of black women, and none of them put conditioner in her hair. None of them combed it. It wasn't important to her. Nikki was even over, I think.
Yeah.
And I see my daughter and I was like, so a white guy.
Daddy Seth's
Yeah,
gonna take
yeah.
care of it.
And that's always been a pet peeve of mine. So with my son too, I always take care of their hair. I love their hair, but so he wanted to go out and have it, but he's not taking care of it.
Well, you're a pretty fresh
So I
guy.
was like,
Just saying.
So I was like,
you
thank you.
can tell that you.
But I was
you
like,
dig.
you gotta shave.
Looking fresh.
So I was like, you gotta shave your head. And part of me is like, I'm like, maybe that's where his power comes from. Like these are what all these Rasta cats talk about. Do that. And I'm like, nah, like you gotta clean it. You gotta either, if you're gonna rock it, rock it.
Right.
But rock it all the way.
Yeah.
Like you're 10 years old. I still make your decisions for you. But that's not racist, nothing. That has to do with, in my whole life, I've been about, you know, we were doing Nikki's lawn today. And it's coming down crunch time. And I promised you that I'd be here at 7. And I always am under that philosophy. If you're not 10 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. And I'm telling Nikki, I'm like, come on, baby, we got to go. And I'm doing this. And we're trying to finish her lawn. And like at 4 o'clock, it's just chaotic as fuck. And I'm wanting to be like, okay, I got to do this. But you want to complete, like I've always been raised under that philosophy. And I'm sure with your dad too, you complete what you start,
Right.
you know. And then it's a due obligation because I'm telling you I'm going to be early. And I'm like, Dad, I got to do this, you know. But with his hair, it's so important to me. So but I always, when I was a kid, you always had a clean cut hair. Like that was a big thing to me, like going to the barber and feeling clean.
Right.
And especially during summer, like getting that heat. And his is an afro. It's so condensed, but you know, I cut it and do it. And
Right.
he likes it, you know, like he's cool with it. I don't know if he's gonna go bald. You know, I don't know how that whole.
Yeah,
they
you get-
say the male hereditary,
Let him-
then
let him
sometimes
know.
it doesn't work.
Like, better take care of
But
it.
then
It's gonna be-
sometimes it doesn't work. But as long as he's happy, you know.
Yeah.
and
They're
like-
lucky though, with the mixed textured hair. It's fantastic.
I think
but they're
everybody's
so
lucky
young,
though with their
you know,
hair.
like that you do have to take care of it. To,
Yeah, you're
to upkeep
like
it. For
like
sure.
they'll be able to have like her stuff. She'll get mad because I'll comb it.
Uh-huh.
And even Nikki said, you know, like you got to put it in the ponytail and then comb it out.
Right.
You know? And I've learned all that because it's so important to me. Not just because it's their hair, not you know, because it's so important you take care of what you've got. You
Right.
know, and it's important to learn those things. And I think like a lot of kids, my nephew was going to be on the cover of Forbes magazine for being an investment broker. He's 25 right now.
Damn.
He's living with my sister. He lost his job because of some bullshit or whatever. He works at Target. Super smart fucking kid. You know, super smart. Is going to school for whatever right now. He builds computers now. Builds personal computers or whatever. So my sister left to Hawaii and I was watching her house for like a week. And he comes out. It's like maybe 10 o'clock, right? And he just looks like depressed. I'm like, what's up, dude? How you doing? Mind you, like, I've already slept, woke up, slept, taking care of the kids, did my shit at work, do what, you know, it's like 10 o'clock, it's Saturday. I feel like it's late, You know,
Mm-hmm.
he looks at me. He's like, I worked like 4 hours and so exhausted. You know, like if I would have said that shit to my dad would have looked at me like how I looked at him, like 4 hours in an air conditioned place.
Yeah.
You know, like that doesn't make any sense to me. But it's about building those core
Right.
values, you know, and like what we're talking about in retrospect, like going back to the where the red fern girl's cutting down that tree at the beginning of the podcast. You know,
Right.
it's building those calluses and learning that, having that mentor to be able to do it in a way where you don't feel criticized, in a way where you don't feel like me looking at my nephew like, you got to be the dumbest motherfucker ever. Seen. But in a person that's like, let's encourage you, you know, and do
Right.
it, you know. And that's all I got to say about the war in Vietnam. That's the end. Mic drop. Boom.
Well, that's it, huh? You good?
I'm good.
Well, man, I'm glad you came
Man,
and talked
I
with
love
me.
being here.
Hopefully, it won't be so long between hanging outs next
Yeah.
time.
No, I'm gonna do board
You know
games.
we both do
I was
love you.
gonna
You come
do
over
board
here.
games. I told Nikki that I was like, Justin always invites me over, and because I smoke cigarettes and I didn't want to be around
Go ahead
Hannah,
up there.
you know.
Yeah,
I
you can
smoke
go in there.
cigarettes.
Man.
No, I know now, and like I could take it and I could be like, we're gonna pause for a second.
She
I
only
would
smokes
definitely
like
like to.
she only smokes like 2 or 3 cigarettes a day now.
Absolutely, that's cool.
She had to knock it down.
Like 4 or 5 shots.
Yeah.
Can I get a shot too? I called you when I was out there. I was like, bring me a shot. She had the baby. Where's the baby now? Sleeping? The baby was.
We'll wrap it up and then we'll let you take
Oh,
a
we
shot,
can.
but we can still talk. I mean, even after this is done.
Yeah, I want to.
That